But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown and amuse you?
Oh, it's good to be back.
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Yeah, maybe after 9/11 where everybody got so sensitive. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
Hello, you don't know? These are no fuckers, though.
I am mad as hell, but I'm not going to take this anymore.
You can't handle the truth.
What's up? I'm Caleb. Welcome to Your List Sucks. I've taken over. I am the captain now. And we are doing musicals. Hey, you're not tuning in the wrong one. We did this topic once, but we didn't do this topic like this. Today, we are doing the best musical stage or screen represented by one song. And why am I not on the panel? Because my opinions are right. So I'm here.
Cody, tell me he's wrong. Hurry.
But what I will... this is my show now. You get to yes, power. But this is gonna be a fun one. I assembled this group under the pretense that I thought we were actually doing a musical episode where there was going to be singing all the time. I was told that is not happening. So instead, we're just gonna talk about the shows. So I let them pick either stage or screen version of a show if there's multiple. Otherwise, they can pick either. So we'll go around, we'll introduce the panelists, and if you want to make a blanket statement that they're all one or the other, go for it. Otherwise, tell me each time when they come up. But tonight, we said they were the Mrs. Lovett role. It's Adelaide Spence. How you doing, Spence?
I'm going to lose again.
Maybe. Quite maybe. We're going to go down to the hack in the glasses, Andrew Barr. How you doing?
Everything's up to date on YLS now. Koho's gonna yell at Spence a lot. That's how I'm doing.
Love it. Love it. Down there is my other appendage. If you watch any teams matches, Cameron Holson. How you doing?
Well, I was doing good, and then you call me your appendage, and now I am doing violently uncomfortable.
I meant arm.
Is that in the medical dictionary? Like, I don't know.
I don't really.
All right, so this has been fun. 3-person show this week. Bye, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
And we'll go over to the guy that the show usually belongs to, the man who usually sits in my spot, Cody Newberry. You wanted to be on, you got on. How you doing? You think you're going to win tonight?
Do I think I'm going to win? Yes. We'll see though. We do have similar taste on some musicals. We disagree on others, but if I saw it live, most likely it will be the live version. If I have only seen the movie version, it will probably be the movie version. But I'd probably pick the most cookie cutter list. I think it's just the correct list. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
We'll see how it goes. So the way the show works, if you're just tuning in for the first time, they're going to go through their 10 through 8s one by one. Only they get to talk about it, treat it like honorable mentions. Then 7 through 4, it's going to be one by one, all the way up. Everyone gets to talk about those free form. And then we go 3s, 2s, 1s to the end of the show. So we'll start with Adelaide Spence. Give me your 10 through 8.
Hi. My number 10 is the one I know everyone loves, not a controversial opinion whatsoever. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, specifically the movie because it's picture. And yeah, I'm doing Sweet Transvestite because I love that shit. I think objectively this is probably the most iffy.
Hold on. You're going to run through all 3 of yours and then come back.
Right, sorry. My number 9.
How does this show work?
My number 9 is a number. It's 6. All you want to do. My number 8 is not a number. It's Little Shop of Horrors, represented by Feed Me. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Number 10, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Objectively, not the best movie, but as I think is pretty obvious to people who know me pretty well, it's very important, and I think it's just created a wonderful culture that I love to live in. Not necessarily day to day, but just at times where I feel sort of alone and want to feel like welcome by a group of freaks. This is a great place to go and just have fun and to live it. All the music is fantastic. Tim Curry giving one of his best performances. Koho, if you knock me for praising Tim Curry, you are a fascist. And they're...
Whoa! Okay.
I don't know. I'll just stop there. I'll end on a high note.
All right, tell me your 9.
No, it's 6.
Talk about it. How's the show work?
I'm plus for going first. Yeah, 6. For those of you who don't know, it's about Henry VIII's wives. 8, not 6 or 9. It's about all of them sing like sort of on just playing like a pop concert as opposed to a typical Broadway music culture. And fucking shit, I'm throwing this. It's a really light, enjoyable, fun time. I think it's a nice new way to interpret Broadway musical theater. I feel like it's, as well as a few other picks later on my list, it's evolving what we can sort of perceive theater as. And on top of that, a lot of the performers are giving their all. I've seen a few versions of you start with the soundtrack and then seeing how different performances line up, and the performers can take just different directions and angles with every song they take and interpret the characters in a new way in every night. And I think it's just like a beautiful, wonderful way to perform theater as well as just evolving the idea of what would be shown in a theater compared to typical Broadway culture. Little Shop of Horrors. It's a classic. I probably have the least to say about this because it's the one that everyone knows. I've seen the movie. I'm picking the movie for this one because it's the one I'm most familiar with. And my friend was in a... I will explain, Barr. I've seen only one non-movie version, and it's a Friends production, and it was really shit. It was just really bad and poorly performed. I don't want to put a lot of weight in something I'm not as familiar with. But the movie is fantastic. The director's cut, ending, always. It's amazing. Audrey 2 is fantastic.
Cool. Rocky Horror sucks. Oh, sorry. I am not a Rocky Horror Picture Show fan. Sweet Transvestite's a fine number. It's fun. Tim Curry's really good in it, but I'll be honest, I fucking hate Susan Sarandon in this shit. Fucking hate Susan Sarandon in this movie. She is so unbearably annoying. Barry Bostwick's whatever, but like at the end of the day, putting this in the top 10, at 10, slight pass. Sweet Transvestite's a fine pick. Number 9, 6, All You Want to Do. So I watched the performance of this one. I actually really dug the song. I think it's a really good song. I'm interested in it. The clips and bits that I saw for 6, it's a cool one-act idea. I don't know if it's a great show, but it's cool. Not top 10 material, especially because it hasn't even premiered on Broadway yet. Fun fact. This is
I've seen
entirely, it. This is based entirely off of touring productions in West End, so who knows? But I definitely not a top 10 show yet. Little Shop though, great choice. If you had picked the Broadway version or the off-Broadway version, because the movie has my least favorite Orange Scrivello of all time, Steve Martin. I think he's perfectly cast if it's not a musical. I don't think Steve Martin can sing. But you also picked the absolute wrong song. Feed Me is fine, but there are at least 3 other songs from Little Shop of Horrors that you should have picked, including Dentist, including Skid Row, and maybe even the titular Little Shop of Horrors, which is a great opening song. But at the end of the day, this is not the song that I would have picked. It's good. I think Audrey 2 in this movie is fantastic. The movie itself is fine. The theatrical cut is awful. Terrible travesty butchering of the show. But that's a fine pick. The other 2, bleh. All right, so we move over to Andrew James Barr, 10 through 8. Hit me.
My number 10 is my personal choice. It's Camelot. Yeah.
Spence actually called it.
I know. I don't know how that happened. I literally messaged Koho going, how does Spence know my 10? And I picked the final Ultimo. My number 9, get ready for Cody to think I'm shoving a gumdrop into a cavity. It's The Music Man with 76 trombones. And my number 8 is the Pulitzer Prize winning musical Next to Normal. And I picked I Am the One. Okay.
All right, tell me about him.
All right. So Camelot, this is a personal favorite of mine. Like the first time I ever saw it, I immediately fell in love with it. It's the story of King Arthur. Everyone knows this story, or at least a variation of it. The way that Act 1 ends, Act 1 ends with a soliloquy instead of a song, and it's one of the greatest soliloquies I've ever heard. And I chose the final Ultimo, where basically earlier in the show he sings the title song, and then at the end, when everything's just gone terribly wrong, he sings the same song, but it's got a less hopeful tone to it, but there's still that hopefulness underneath it, which I think makes this song a lot more powerful. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. My number 9, The Music Man. Look, I get that a lot of people think that it's cheesy, that it's sugary. I think that's what makes it work in this musical's favor. I picked 76 Trombones as the big song and dance number of the musical because it's the one that fits the tone the best, with that Aaron Copland kind of orchestration. And I really like the show a lot. I think this is just a really fun show. And my number 8 is Next to Normal. I saw this in the touring company when Alice Ripley actually blew her vocal cords out during a performance and could not sing that well in Act 2. But I think that this musical is really good. It's the only show to ever win the Pulitzer for Best Drama without even being nominated, which is amazing. And I think I Am the One is the song that really encapsulates the spirit of the musical. If you don't see the show, at least listen to the soundtrack. The soundtrack, the cast recording is absolutely amazing. This musical is phenomenal.
All right. You're old. Camelot sucks. All right. You picked Finale Ultimo, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, if this is the whole show, I'm not interested. Word of warning. Maybe pick the one that is the first version of this, because I didn't get anything you told me out of just listening to the Ultimo. So it was fine. It's just old, man. It's such an old show.
It's my personal pick.
I'll give it to you at 10 because you're a hack. All right, Music Man. Dude, I have seen this done so many times by so many high schools, and I'm over it. If we could ban 3 musicals from ever existing and being done by high schools ever, The Music Man is one of them, Grease is another one, and the last one, who cares? Do a fucking rumble between Mary Poppins or whatever the fuck your town does. Because ours was Into the Woods. Everyone did Into the Woods 8 times a year, and I was tired of it. But look, end of the day, Music Man's one I never need to see. 76. You can only see 76 trombones so many times. You can only see 76 trombones so many times, okay? It's fine.
You don't want to hear Hugh Jackman doing it?
No, I don't. I want him to go be Wolverine again. All right. Next to Normal is great. I had not heard of it until today. I listened to I Am the One and then immediately listened to the entire soundtrack because it is phenomenal. It's a great pick. It wouldn't make my 10 just because it's so new to me, but it's a great choice. It did not win. It lost to Billy Elliot. That was a weird factoid that
that was wrong.
It didn't win the Tony for Best Musical, but it's a great show. All right. So, fine start. We'll go to Mr. Holtzman. Your 10 journey.
Absolutely. My number 10 will make Koho happy because it's written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. My 10 is In the Heights. I chose When You Are Home. My 9 is my very obscure pick that no one knows unless I tell them about it. It's Nevermore, The Imaginary Life and Mysterious Death of Edgar Allan Poe. I chose the song Edgar Met Elmira. I know it's a long-ass... It's like Birdman. And my number 8 is Heathers, and I picked the song Beautiful.
All right. Explain.
I can't tell if they're angry because they don't have it or if they're angry because I do.
Explain.
So yeah, number 10, In the Heights. This is one I love. I got to go to like a theater workshop where I studied it, and I just think this entire show is great. I chose When You're Home. It's basically one character, Benny, played by Christopher Jackson, who's essentially talking to another character who's just returned back to the neighborhood that they live in and saying like all the things that she sort of missed while she's been away and why he thinks she should stay. And it's sort of the song that like builds their relationship. And it's just like really fun. It's really cool. It's just great vocals because Christopher Jackson can riff for hours and I would listen to it. Yeah. Number 9, Nevermore. This is a really obscure musical. It premiered in my city, and that's why I know of it. It's about Edgar Allan Poe. The music has like this really strange gothic kind of style. It's really good. I really enjoy it. One of my university professors was in the cast, and that's how I found out about it. I just think it's really cool, really interesting. It barely had a script, so the fact that there's a cast recording I think is really interesting because it was a lot of improvisation and devised stuff on stage every night. This song I think is just like really cute and really well done. The first half of it is very strange. It's just dialogue, but it's still really interesting. And then number 8, Heathers. I love the movie. I like the musical even more. Specifically, I am picking the original cast, not the London cast. They can go away because the London cast does not have Jessica Keenan win or Barrett Wilbert Weed. This song is the opening number, and it's basically just, hey, this is the world of Heathers. This is high school. Everyone kind of sucks except for our lead character. Also, here are the Heathers. Again, Veronica just gets to like go crazy with her vocals and just like belt forever, and I am here for it, and I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So In the Heights, great choice. I love In the Heights. It's if Hamilton is Lin-Manuel Miranda's like passion opus, greatest thing he's ever made, In the Heights is his passion project that a lot of his soul and autobiography is actually poured into, and you can feel it in every character and every detail. This is probably the most lived-in world he's ever written. When You're Home is a great song. I personally picked the opening number. I think the opening number is such a great scene setter, and it's just a really fun song. But When You're Home is a fantastic song, so not a bad choice.
There's a toss-up between this, the opening, and the finale.
Fair. Nevermore. Sir, I had to scour the bowels of the internet.
I know you did.
To find the soundtrack, and I found it, and I was underwhelmed. This song specifically was long and boring and not very good. This is like, hey, what if Tim Burton decided to direct a stage show about Edgar Allan Poe, but didn't know how to make a musical? Basically what this is. It's not great. I didn't love it, and this song is bad. So top 10 of all time, may God have mercy on your soul. Heathers. Beautiful. It's the wrong song. There's a lot of different songs you could pick, but Heathers is a fantastic show that would make my list. I would personally pick probably Freeze Your Brain. Candy Store is great. 17 is the song of the show. But that's the basic bitch pick bar. But Heathers.
If I'm being honest, it was between this 17 and My Dead Gay Son.
That is the most Schultzman show song in the show. But Heathers is a great pick. Fantastic choice. And now we go to Mr. Newberry, who can never be wrong. What is your 10 through 8?
All right. Well, I'll treat these like honorable mentions because some of these people don't know how the show works. My number 10 was a scratch, so I replaced it with West Side Story. God, not the stage version ever.
Okay.
My 9 is Phantom of the Opera. Music of the night.
I would assume you're the only one.
No, that's fine. I don't care. They can all gasp all they want. They can gasp all they want, and Camelot and Music Man was brought up. I don't even want to hear it. I think Phantom. I like Phantom. I've always liked Phantom. I like the concert version. I think a little bit better than the actual show that I've seen. The 25th anniversary concert I think is incredible. Also, Norman Lewis does a version of this song, and I think it's incredible. It's a deeper tone to it than normal.
Did you
but yeah,
Did you skip your 8? How does this show work?
No, good.
This is my 9.
Barr, not your time. Not your time. Continue.
Yeah, so I think that would be it. And then, I'm ready for this one. This is going to be the first one. This is from the show, the stage show, not the movie. This is Rent. And this is the I'll Cover You reprise. I think the I'll Cover You reprise is one of the saddest songs that has ever been delivered on Broadway. Regardless what you feel about the show, I like the movie version of this performance. It's probably the only thing from the movie performance that I like. But yeah, I think this song is absolutely incredible. It tells exactly the tie-in with this and the title song, the 525,600 minutes. I think it's just beautiful between both these performers. So yes, Rent.
All right, so your 10 got skipped, so we'll talk about it later. Number 9, Phantom of the Opera, Music of the Night. So I've never been the biggest Phantom fan. It's not a show that I think is bad. It's just not a show that's connected to me. But I listened to the Norm Lewis one that you asked me to listen to, and it was amazing. Norm Lewis's version of Music of the Night is fantastic, but also I think that man could not do anything wrong if he tried to. He's fantastic in everything he does. So I'll give it a pass. Number 8, Rent is great. I don't fucking care. It's a great fucking show. At least the stage show is. The movie, not as good, still fine. I'll Cover You Reprise is the best song in this show. It's the best song in the show. Jesse L. Martin's performance in both the show and the movie is heartbreaking. That man can fucking belt. He can belt and you feel it in your soul. It almost feels like a guttural scream coming out in the most melodic sounds. Rent is great. You two are on trial for being pretentious fucks. And we're going to move on to Spence. 7 through 4. Let's go.
Hold on. I'm going to get my Spence ready. So let's go. As soon as he announces something, I'm just going to fly off the screen.
I wish I could.
Love the off, it looks like.
Yeah, my number 7 is Les Miserables.
Yikes.
Yikes. Get up. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yikes.
Sorry,
My-
I mixed
my
some shows.
6
I'm
is
never on
great.
this side. I'm never on this side of it.
My 6 is Chicago.
The movie or the stage version?
Movie or stage?
The movie.
I hate you.
I am filled with rage.
What is your song selection?
My pick is Cell Block Tango. I have destroyed the whole panel. Yes.
This was my
okay.
10. I took it off. I'm just letting you know.
I want to say for reference, I've seen the stage show. The version I saw was not great. I didn't No. It's not anything against the stage show. The production itself, I was not a fan of because of the performers in it. They were poorly cast. They didn't sing well. I didn't love it. The movie is one of those first musicals I saw when I was getting really into them. There's no arguing that's not like that. As well as a pick later that we'll get to pretty soon. I think the direction, not great. Rob Marshall butchered the fuck out of this, but I think the core of the musical is still there. I still love all the characters. Their songs are all fuck you, Kirk. The songs are all amazing. The performances are all amazing. It is it's a wonderful, wonderful time. I've shown it to like half a dozen friends, and they've all loved it. I think that just this community in general has a big stigma against the film, which I'm not going to argue there are very legitimate complaints. When it comes down to a musical experience of sitting down and seeing something you might have missed on Broadway, while this is a poor adaptation of the original source material, it's giving you a new experience. I still revisit time and time again.
You picked the movie version, which is not good. It's probably one of the worst Best Picture winners of all time. However, it's a fine film. It is a fine movie, a bad adaptation, but as a version of Chicago, whatever. I think it has the best Velma Kelly of all time in Catherine Zeta-Jones. I stand by that. She is amazing. I kind of like Richard Gere as Billy Flynn. I don't think he's awful. I think he does a fine job. John C. Reilly is great in this movie, but that man cannot be bad in anything except maybe Holmes and Watson. And then, Renee Zellweger kind of sucks and everything. So she's kind of a bad, pretty bad Roxy Hart. But Cell Block Tango is probably not the choice I would take from any version of Chicago, but I get it. I think it's not the one from this movie I would pick. We Both Reach for the Gun's going to have a personal soft spot with me forever because I was in that one. I did Chicago and I got to sing that one, so that's my favorite one. But yeah, Cell Block Tango, I get it. That and all that jazz and Cell Block Tango are the two that everyone's like, that's Chicago. I personally will always love All I Care About and Mr. Cellophane and Both Reach for the Gun more. But I get it. For you, I get Chicago. For most people, Chicago makes the top 10. I don't like Chicago as much, but it's fine. The movie, Cody, thoughts on Chicago?
Yeah, so this was my 10. I had it on there, and I had We Both Reach for the Gun, and I would have done the stage version. I think the movie version gets a lot of hate, and that's fine. I understand. I still think they do a good job because I've seen bad versions of Chicago on stage, and I've seen great versions of Chicago on stage. I think Chicago movie hits middle between them because there are pros and cons to them. Rob Marshall just shouldn't direct, musicals. This is the first start of, putting big name actors in the roles instead of and sacrificing talent basically. And this is the start of it. I like Cell Block Tango because of Catherine Zeta-Jones, but the rest of them are not great in that thing. I think they're all like pretty meh. Like Rent. People have a visceral reaction for Rent, but Rent at least used the Broadway cast from the show that they started, so they at least had actual singers from the actual show. This one, there are just some weird ass parts in this, and especially like, even the theatrics that you get from a movie, like to set the scene even better, like with flashbacks and stuff like that, it fails on that. It was kind of weird, but we both reached for the gun would have been the correct choice from Chicago and Bias. It was my 11. But
Lucy Lou's random cameo also always throws me the fuck
I
off.
hate random cameo.
That too. Barr, you had a very visceral reaction. Chicago, go.
You had the choice. You said you've seen the stage version. You had the choice between the movie and the stage version, and you picked the movie. I'm sorry. Look, I don't hate the movie version of Chicago as much as everyone else does. I think it's arguably Rob Marshall's best musical movie. Maybe he's number 2. But like the fact that, look, I had the stage version on my short list. You picked the movie though, which is not that good.
All right, Alton. I saved you for last for a reason.
Yeah, I know you saved me for last. I have been vocal about this before, and I'll be vocal about it again. I hate this movie with every fiber of my being. This movie is, in fact, my least favorite movie ever. I think it fails fundamentally at doing what the stage version is supposed to do, which is be a satire. Rob Marshall is my least favorite director of all time. I was nice enough to change my screen name. My go-to standard stream name on StreamYard for the past several days has been Rob Marshall's Severed Head. I hate the man. He cannot direct a film. And the moment Spence brought it up, I started doing a lovely drawing. This is me stabbing Spence in the neck. Also, then you pick Cell Block Tango, a song that is specifically just like, it's not well loved because it's a legitimately great song. It's more well loved ironically, and for versions that are done like with all male casts so that it's funny. We both reach for this gun is the correct song choice. I move on.
And Rob Marshall can't direct. Like,
wait, before we get to my 5, can I ask Holtzman tell his personal story about why he hates Chicago? I think it's really funny.
Nope, we're going to your 5.
Damn it.
Get your crosses out, folks. All right, what's your 5?
My 5. It's a great movie. I'm not sure if any of you have, at least you guys on the panel know. I don't think anyone in the live chat knows. It's a musical.
I need you to explain to me if it's the film or stage. Sorry, why it's the stage and not the film. Yeah,
it's not the film. Only the stage counts as moves on a musical. It's Sing Street. And I'm picking the movie that should have won the Oscar, Drive It Like You Stole It. Yeah, see, Cody didn't know either. You know, it's great fucking movie adapted to a great fucking show. I didn't get their names down, but the people who they got to do the music for the stage version are really great. Their vocals are wonderful. I listened to it again before this recording. It's all fantastic. It's the same thing you love from the movie being adapted to the stage. And like, why not get to relive it in like a live setting?
This show sucks dick. Sorry, but the Sing Street musical is terrible. Holtzman brought to my attention that it was even turned into a Broadway show last season and showed me the soundtrack. The new songs, terrible. And the way that they treat the old songs, worse. Every song that they sing takes what's supposed to feel like an 80s song and goes, what if we did the 80s pop song, but in Broadway form? And those two styles do not mix at all. And Drive It Like You Stole It is the least offensive one, but it's still pretty bad. Actually, I take that back. The least offensive one is Go Now, which is actually maybe improved upon by the show by having everyone get to sort of take part in Go Now. I'll give you that. It has a good finale with Go Now. Everything else is bad. The kid that they cast to replace Connor Lawler is bad. The person that they got to replace Lucy Boynton is bad. Literally, this entire show is bad, and you picked it just because you thought you could talk about the movie again, and you can't, because the movie's not a musical, and the musical's from Broadway, ass. Holtzman, you are familiar with Sing Street, the musical week.
Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, I saw that the soundtrack had been released. downloaded it, proceeded to not listen to it, and then come home that day and go, "Hey, Koho, guess what? The soundtrack for the Sing Street musical is out." And we listened to it together on call and spent the entire thing going, okay, I guess that's a choice. Yeah, it's fundamentally worse than the movie. It just like sort of the only good song they do is not in the movie, but it's also not an original. And it's when they do a cover of "Just Can't Get Enough," which is like the opening number, and it's just, "Hey, we're hanging out in a bedroom, sing a song." It's just so aggressively mediocre, and you can't put this on the shoulders of the film because the film is not a musical. May God have mercy on your soul. Good day.
Barr, are you aware that they tried to convert Sing Street to a stage show?
I am. However, I heard about it last year. I heard that they were developing it last year. It was released last year. This sounds like it was super rushed out. So I had no interest.
Yep.
And you'd be right.
You'd be correct. Cody, you hate the movie, and would you have any interest in a sideshow version?
One, I was about to like burn this whole fucking show down if he would have had the movie, because that's not a musical. And then to find out they made a movie about it, and the person that loves the movie so much hates it, I'm gonna pass. This is not top 10 at all. If Koho and Cam said no thank you, you picked the wrong choice.
All right, Spence, you're just having a great time. What's your 4?
Historically, my 10 to 8, my 3 to 1 are all right. My 7 to 4 is where I shit myself. Gonna continue. My number 4 is Sweeney Todd.
Stage
version?
movie.
Which version?
But the movie.
Get out.
Does anyone else have Sweeney Todd?
Yes, I have Sweeney Todd. I have the stage version.
Is that where is it?
4.
Okay, let's talk about it. Spence, what's your song?
I'm picking A Little Priest, and I want to explain myself here.
Okay.
I want to explain myself. Here, Holtzman. I want to explain myself.
Barr and I are getting violently angry.
First of all, when I submitted the list, I was under the assumption I could do 50-50 because I love the stage version and the movie version. Of course, I could only pick one, but I couldn't change the song. I love the movie more, but I couldn't change the song, so I had to stick with this. I understand where it's a failure of an adaptation, but that being said, same with Chicago. The failure of it being an adaptation does not detract from the enjoyment of it as a singular piece of film. Last year, I saw a rip of the original Angela Lansbury version, the Patti LuPone version, and the movie version all back to back to back, and it deepened my love for all 3 of them. The movie is one of my top 10 favorites of all time, and I loved both of the Broadway performances I've seen. I'm going to kill Andrew Barr.
You're going to kill me? I'm going to kill you first.
You think you're the one who gets to kill Andrew Barr?
No, I'm going to give him a heart attack is the different issue.
Let's finish.
It's this wonderful dark satire of just like the idea of eating the rich and the rich eating you back, and just like this constant back and forth momentum, this idea of just constant desire for power. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful show. And that being said, I think, and the movie is, again, one of the first that got me into musicals. I saw it when I was like fucking 13, and my love for it has stayed ever since. I honestly feel, again, this is one where I understand people's not liking it, but I can't understand people just absolutely throwing it away because it's an adaptation. I think if you sit down and take it in as just what it is, it's not perfect, but it's fucking awesome, and I love it. I love it to pieces.
Andrew James Barr, you had this as your 4. What is your song choice if it's not A Little Priest?
I picked Pretty Women. First of all, I don't hate the movie because it's an adaptation. That's not my problem with the movie. I get that it's your first movie musical, and I get why there's a deep attachment to it. I understand that. I respect that. The movie's not good. The movie's not good because it doesn't treat it like a satire. It treats it deadly serious. The stage version treats it like a satire, which makes it work. I think that first of all, Stephen Sondheim, there's a big joke in the theater world that Stephen Sondheim is a god, and that I make that joke all the time because it's correct. The way that they incorporate that steam whistle in the opening and like throughout the entire show is amazing. The way that these characters are written and the way that the stories weave in and out with each other, it's masterful. And these songs are amazing. Pretty Women is this great dynamic piece between Sweeney and Judge Turpin, the man that Sweeney has been trying to kill for the entire show. And instead of just quickly slicing his neck open, he's savoring the moment. He's enjoying it, which makes the song even more tense because you're just waiting for the moment for him to kill him. And I think that I think this musical is amazing. The movie can just go off and be its own thing.
Okay, so Sweet Demon Barber Fleet Street show, amazing. Having seen many versions of this show done, it is excellent every time. I really love the ballad of Sweeney Todd himself. The first song, it's really fun, and I love the way it keeps coming back throughout the show. Angela Lansbury is amazing, and cannot do any wrong. She is my queen. However, the movie's awful. The movie is awful for the simple reason that Barr said. Tim Burton is treating it exactly like it's a serious story. Tim Burton watched the show and got the wrong idea from watching the show and said, I want to make that. And that's not Sweeney Todd. And that's why that movie fundamentally does not work. Also, it would help if they had cast real good singers in it instead of his friends who can't hold a pitch. Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp can't sing to save their lives. You put a gun to Johnny Depp's head, he couldn't sing the right note. And also Alan Rickman I love, but he also can't really sing. He doesn't really have to, because he can. When it's really hard to tell if you're singing wrong when you're a bass. It's very hard to tell when a bass is singing wrong. But when you're a tenor, like Sweeney Todd, or a baritone, it's noticeable. If you're an alto soprano, it is noticeable. And both of Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp are Russell Crowe and Les Mis level bad. And they have to carry a movie. And that's a problem. So Sweeney Todd movie, terrible. Spence, you're wrong. Also, A Little Priest, terrible adaptation in the movie. Pretty Women.
I told you why it didn't fucking work.
Pretty Women, great song. And probably one of them, probably not my favorite, but probably up there. It's up there, top 3. Cody Newberry, Sweeney Todd, thoughts?
So I remember watching the movie, and I didn't like the movie. I was like, wow, this is not how this show was ever described to me. And I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about Sweeney Todd. I haven't watched a lot. The only one I've actually seen, I think it's a concert. It's with Emma Thompson and that cast, and I enjoy that a lot. I think it's great. Once I watched that, I was like, oh, so this is what Sweeney Todd was supposed to be and not what we got in the movie. I'm not a Tim Burton fan. I think Tim Burton is a director that got lucky and has continued to make movies. I'm not in love with the show as much because I don't know much about it. But like, if I watched that version or saw it live, I could see it jumping onto my list. But right now, it's just not there for me.
Cody, there is a version you can find on YouTube that was the original touring company with Angela Lansbury and George Hearn. Watch that.
It is very good.
I'll check it out. In the Patti LuPone version, they also all play their own instruments. It's a wonderful, like, just thought experiment. It's fucking great.
Holtzman, Sweeney Todd.
So yeah, my first introduction to Sweeney Todd was also the movie. In fact, last year on the top 10 movie musicals list, I had Sweeney Todd on my list because I had never seen the stage version. And then I watched it within the past year, and whoo boy was I wrong. Whoo boy did I make a mistake. So I'm fine with Barr. Barr picked a good song, and Barr picked the stage version. Spence not only picked the movie, but Spence picked the song in the movie that actively goes against what it should be. Barr and I have talked about this several times. A Little Priest should be really fun and really quirky and really enjoyable. And they make it boring and sad and just uninteresting. Like you said, it should be quirky and fun and satirical, and he takes it seriously, and that's the song that it hurts the most. I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now.
What are you saying? Who backpedals
more?
Who
backpedals more, Spence or Boatman? I'm not sure at this point.
Can I again?
Really well.
I didn't know the format of this. I would have changed my pick if I could have. I just couldn't, and I need to run with it.
All right, well then run with it. Barr, we're moving on to your 7 through 4.
Let's go old.
Okay. My number 7 is this is my most out of the box pick, I think. My number 7 is Assassins.
Hell yeah.
Anyone else
cool.
have Assassins? No? Okay, go for it.
Yep, and I picked the Ballad of Booth. Assassins is a concept musical. It follows the 4 successful and a few of the unsuccessful presidential assassins. So it's Stephen Sondheim. And it's really interesting. It starts off in like this weird dark carnival like setting where there's a balladeer. It's not the balladeer, but he's like the guy who runs the circus. And he just starts like, "Hey fella, feeling blue, don't know what to do. Do you want to shoot a president?" And it's like that shooting game at the carnival. And then it goes from there. And there's a balladeer who sings the stories of each one of these assassins and the way that the assassins interact with each other. It's really, really interesting. It's really fascinating. And I picked the Ballad of Booth because this is where you get the most dynamics of the show, where you get the balladeer singing about Booth, and then you get Booth singing about why he did it, why his actions work in his mind. And then you get back to the balladeer who like has a little sarcasm that he's throwing shade at Booth. It's a fascinating musical, and I think everyone should watch it at least once.
Assassins is real cool. I like Assassins. I've seen 2 versions of it. I watched a original cast version. It's not great quality. It's grainy because obviously it's like 70s version, but it's still pretty good. I really like the concepts and the ideas of it, and I like how everyone sort of project or how different people try to stage it. Because in the script, it obviously is like, it starts as a carnival game, and then you go through. Some people have changed how they get into the different parts. It's really interesting how they twist the concept and play with it. I think my favorite song is "Unworthy of Your Love." It always will be my favorite song from that one, especially when Ben Platt and Zoe Deutsch sing it. But it's a really cool show. I think the most unsettling scene in the entire thing is when Booth and Oswald have their conversation.
Yeah,
it is a fantastic scene. I have done it with my friend Jack for a speech duo. It is a fantastically written scene. It's not a musical that I put very high on the top 10, if at all, but I will respect it. I think it's a very cool show. Every time it gets revived, I think people sort of treat it a little too reverently and should probably take a few more risks and changes with it, because it's a concept that can be bent and tweaked and added to and made really cool, as long as you keep the bare bones skeleton of it. It's a show that can live and evolve and change with each iteration, and I think that's what makes it really cool. So nice pick. I like it. Cameron Holtzman, what are your thoughts on Assassins?
There's one that I like kind of know. I'm not super familiar with it. What I've heard from it, I like. I am on the same page as Kaleb Koho, "Unworthy of Your Love," Zoe Deutsch, Ben Platt, because as you will learn later, Ben Platt can do no wrong. No wrong. Benjamin Schiff Platt is a king. You may move on.
Okay. Cody Newberry, have you heard of Assassins? Are you a fan? You're muted.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but sounds cool. Sure.
Cool.
I don't know.
Fair. I actually think you'd like Assassins. Spence.
So too.
Probably.
Spence, Assassins. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts?
So Barr likes musicals about murder. It's good to know. I've seen the Politician version, and that's it.
The Politician version.
That's where Ben Platt and Zoe Deutsch do that.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
On the show, The Politician. But Assassin's good pick. All right, number 6.
Number 6, I think it. No, it's not. Okay. Number 6 is Wicked.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Cool.
Okay.
My number 5 is Ragtime.
Okay.
And I picked Till We Reach That Day. Ragtime. It's set in 1901. It follows 3 different stories that all interweave with each other. The immigrant story, the Cole House Walker Jr. story, the family story. And I think that the way that the stories interweave with each other is super tight. Terrence McNally, rest in peace, did such a great job writing this libretto. And the music is utterly amazing. I think that this was the perfect musical team to put behind this. And I think Till We Reach That Day is the most resonating song in that musical right now, especially right now. If you hear that song and you know the story and you know about the times currently, that song hits super real, like super hard. I think the grandiose nature of this in such a time-fitting story is so perfect, and I think that this musical is amazing. People need to see this.
Okay, so before we break this down, I listened to everyone's songs on everyone's lists, the version specifically they asked. 2 shows I watched in their entirety. This was one of them. I watched an entire version of Ragtime because I listened to this song and I didn't quite understand it. And I thought it was okay. And I was like, maybe if I watch it in context, it'll be good. And I watched the context and went, I'm watching this from the beginning. I didn't love the rest of the show as much as I liked that segment. But it is a fine choice. A little too high. But I get it. It's a very Barr show. Especially because it is called the title Ragtime. The music fits the title. I will say that. So it is very Barr. But Till We Reach That Day is a great song. It's a great moment, and it is a very somber way to end your first act. So I give them a lot of props for choosing to end your first act on that low note, and then moving on after that. Never quite reaches that moment again. But good song, fine pick, too high. Wholesome, Ragtime.
I have literally no connection to Ragtime. I've never seen it, never listened to it, never really been interested. So yeah, you found one of my blind spots.
Okay. Spence.
No.
Ragtime. Nope. Figured. Cody. Ragtime.
So in high school, we did a thing. It was kind of like Tony Awards for high schools, where we went around and had to watch a bunch of shows that other schools put on. The only one I've ever seen of this version, it was in a high school, and it wasn't done very well. I have listened to the soundtrack. I do like the soundtrack, but you hit it on the head. It's a very Barr pick, but it's one of the Barr picks that I'm like, oh, that's fine. I understand why. It's just not for me. So, yeah.
All right. And then your 4 was Sweetie Todd, so
Todd.
we are done with you. All right.
Sweetie Todd.
So, Kevin Holton, hit me with your 7 through 4.
I am prepared for Spence to get annoyed with me. My number 7 is Be More Chill.
Anyone else have this? No. Okay. What's your
song? Michael in the Bathroom, because why would I pick any other song?
Also, I'm going to hit the timeout button. Gotta ask.
Original New Jersey version. We're not talking Broadway here. Continue. You're good. Continue. Yeah, I love this musical. I think it's really fun. I think the story is really interesting. For those who are unacquainted, it's about a guy named Jeremy who is in high school, and he's basically sort of a loser, and then he finds that there's this pill that you can take that will put a supercomputer in your brain, which someone tells him will help him become cool. And the supercomputer decides there's only one way that I can help this loser become cool. We have to take over the entire world and basically turn the earth into a hive mind. And it's really weird. It's really interesting. It's a really cool sci-fi premise. Michael in the Bathroom is sung by George Salazar, who is another king, one of the greatest vocalists currently working on Broadway. And it's basically later on in the show, Michael is Jeremy's best friend at the beginning. And then as the computer's making him more popular, he has to sort of like cut ties with the person he used to be, which includes cutting off Michael. And so they get in a fight at this Halloween party. And then the song takes place immediately after that fight. And it's Michael in the bathroom essentially having a panic attack because he's lost his one best friend in this very public debacle. It's an absolutely beautiful song. George Salazar knocks it out of the park, and it's incredible. And so beautifully written. It's so fun. It's got great references. Like there's a moment where for a brief second, he starts singing I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston in the middle of the song. And it's really, really fun. The reason it's not higher on my list is I went more based on the soundtracks than the musical in a lot of these. And there's some songs on the soundtrack that I can't really even stand at points. And also because there is a Broadway version that fully lessens how good this is.
All right, so Be More Chill was one that I came across my senior year of high school, about a year after it actually premiered, when my friends, a class below me, were like, hey, this seems like it would be right up your alley. And I was like, sure, I'll listen to it. I have always equated this to being like a 21st century version of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
It is like an updated sort of reinterpretation of that story and those tropes, and it does it really well. The Squip is a really fun villain and a very fun character in most of the iterations and performances. I have been lucky enough that I've gotten to see this performance or a staging of this performance live and be a part of one of those stagings. It's a really fun show. I think the character of Michael is the best in the show, and Michael in the Bathroom is the best song of the show. It's the most emotional. It's the most powerful song, and resonates with you all the way through. Great choice. I love Be More Chill. The Broadway version is an abomination all the way through. Cody, Be More Chill. Have you heard of it? Thoughts?
Song 2 minutes. I didn't listen to a damn word Cameron Holton really said. I was listening to 2 minutes and 4 seconds of this song, and I am digging every bit of it. I don't know much about it. I heard what he opened with, and then I started listening to it. I'm willing to check it out. It sounds There's one that I'm going to bring up next that will probably skip that I listened to soundtrack only, and the soundtrack got on the list. So I think this one could be that way for me. So it sounds very interesting how it was described. So no hate for it.
Fair. Andrew James Barr. The first stages of this happened in your state. Are you aware of Be More Chill? Thoughts on Be More Chill?
This happened in New Jersey when I was still living in Pennsylvania.
Damn it. I thought I had you. I thought I had another famous moment for you. Fuck. All right.
I got to see the North American premiere of 6, but I didn't get to say that earlier.
I have not seen this. It is something that I've heard some of the music to. I've definitely heard Michael in the Bathroom, and it is great. However, I just haven't seen it, so I could not put it on the list because of that.
Fair. Spence, I saved you for last for a reason. We showed this to you. What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure how much I can say, because last time we talked about this, we got in a very serious fight.
Well, because you said there's nothing special about Be More Chill, and not only did you say it, you tweeted it.
Well,
After
yeah.
telling us that you liked it. That's why we were mad. Go ahead.
Okay, so number one, this musical itself is just a tonal fucking mess. Number one, it is needlessly quirky. It's like, oh hey, look at this, we're so fucking cool.
Let's talk.
You just picked a very Zoomer musical, which I'm not gonna fight against. I just think that it doesn't work as a whole. Michael in the Bathroom, wonderful, beautiful song, the correct pick. It doesn't fit in the show. It is entirely apropos of everything else and the tone of the rest of the show. I think if you put it in a different musical, it works perfectly. But you give it to a supporting character who doesn't have much going on really in the show besides this one moment. And everything built up to this one moment, and then he's fucking gone until the finale. I just think it doesn't work. Granted, the version that we saw was not a good version.
No, it was a shitty Broadway one, and we told
exactly.
You that. Listen to the soundtrack.
I'm admitting that I'm coming from a very bad perspective. That being said, the soundtrack that we've listened to, the New Jersey version, it's not great. Some of the songs are really good, and I was really too hard on them the first time. But then you have shit like, was it like 2-player game or something? Come on. Come. It's fucking annoying. It's not a good show.
You are the last person who gets to say anything about annoying and tonal messes when you have Sweeney Todd the movie at
I tried to pick a different version and I couldn't.
No mercy. Have a good day. All right, Olson, you're number 6.
Okay, before I say my 6, I would like to point out that Spence just said I made a Zoomer pick. And that's rich coming from Spence.
That's true. Very true.
You're younger than me, bitch.
Yeah, I am. But you're the one who's vocal about being proud about it. Anyways, my 6 is West Side Story.
I was a yikes from you earlier. Wait.
What?
Barr.
I know why he doesn't, and we.
What's your song choice?
I picked the Tonight Quintet. And I assume Cody picked America because I know Cody.
Correct. I did pick America.
I can't because I don't believe.
All right, also continue.
Yeah, so I picked the stage version just because I made the rule to pick stage versions. I admit the movie is better than the stage version, but I based all of my picks on the stage versions just because I have already been on top 10 movie musicals, and I didn't want to do that list again. So yeah, I love this show. I got to be in it like 6 years ago when I was 14 years old. I think it's a really, I was about to say really fun show. At points, it's really fun, but it also is able to get like really dark and really messed up, and it still works, and you're still so engaged in it. I picked the Tonight Quintet just because, to me, it has sort of, it's one of those things where it's everyone coming together, and you're getting like all the characters' sort of themes that they've had throughout the first act of the show, and they all come together, and it's leading up to the big event of the Rumble, leading up to this is the fight that defines how the rest of the show is going to go. West Side Story is the only good version of Romeo and Juliet that there has ever been, because high school teachers need to stop making us read it. Shakespeare did other things. But no, like I think this show's great. It's one of the most fun shows I've had the opportunity to be in. I think just the choreography and everything in every version I've seen is great. Yeah.
I just need to ask you a question. Are you specifically picking stage, or are you picking screen?
I said I'm picking stage because I am picking stage for this whole list. I said that during this conversation.
Okay, don't yell at me. It's my show, bitch. Okay, Cody.
So I picked the movie version. And the reason why I picked the movie version is because I have seen the recent, maybe not the most recent, but I think it was a couple years ago, The Touring Company. And that thing must have been the most trippy version of West Side Story I have ever seen in my life. I thought there was acid in the drink I was drinking in the theater because I was seeing shit. It wasn't the one where they split English and Spanish. Like, it wasn't that version. It was like more of a visual like interpretation of West Side Story. I think it was awful.
Yeah.
But America is the song I picked because I think that still to this day in movie is like my favorite musical number that's ever been in a movie at this point. I think it is so original and so fun, and the back and forth and the dancing. I think the dancing doesn't get enough credit for like how good that dancing was back then. And it's just this fun play. I think West Side Story, why it was 10, it was gonna be off my list completely, but I think America, and I think Tonight's a great choice too. I'm not knocking Tonight. I think the overall movie is amazing. I think I'm very worried about it getting remade, but like it is the best story of Romeo and Juliet, and the song numbers and everything. Like, even when it has the problematic songs like Officer Krupke and stuff, I still enjoy that world that it creates inside that movie. I think it's brilliant. So yeah.
Okay. I've never seen the movie. I have only ever seen a stage version, and I hated the stage version.
So you watched the entire thing of Ragtime, but didn't watch West Side Story.
I said that I had.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna fact check.
One of the last ones I was planning on watching was West Side Story, and I ran out of time. But I watched your clip for America, and I loved it. I loved every minute of watching that. So I know I'm gonna love the movie, and I will watch it probably tomorrow, to be honest. But that's why I asked him specifically stage or movie, because I don't like the stage show. I loved the one movie clip I saw. I loved the movie version of Tonight because I watched the movie version of Tonight too, just to see if it was cool. Fucking movie version of Tonight's great. So I like your song. I didn't like it in the stage show. Loved it in the movie. So cool. I get it. Correct choice for a top 10. I just haven't seen the movie yet. Adelaide Spence, thoughts on West Side Story?
So, I have some great moments in my life. I have watched
for the 10th time.
You don't know my life. Actually, you do. I post everything.
I would like the record to state I did just fact check, and over a year ago on the top 10 movie musicals episode, Kaleb Koho did claim to have seen the film, which means he blatantly lied.
Wait, Koho has a YLS to suck up Cody? Never.
These are lies. I call this fake bullshit. Move on.
Yeah, okay. I have some great moments in my life. One of those is watching Andrew Barr cry watching West Side Story. I came into the movie really not being a fan when I watched it the first time because I hate every version of Romeo and Juliet. I fucking love it now. That movie is utterly fucking incredible. It's one of the best directed musicals ever, period. When I first made the list, my short list, I had Something's Coming as like my 9 or 10. I had to cut it because I wasn't super familiar and listening to the soundtrack over and over. I think I love the show more, or I love the movie, or I love the story more than the music. But the story itself is fantastic. And again, Jerome Robbins. Yeah, Jerome Robbins and Robert Wise. I was
Ryan, I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready.
I was saying Robert Wise in my head, and I just couldn't pack the two. Just their directing job is fucking incredible. I will never discount this pick. It's amazing.
Andrew James Barr. You've gone on record many times saying this is like your favorite movie, your favorite musical, and you don't have it. Explain.
There are two reasons. One, I made a conscious effort to only include stage versions, and the stage version of West Side Story is actually not that good. There are some areas where the movie improves on it exponentially by changing some of the song sequencing, where it actually tonally fits so much better. And the other reason is because I have talked about this movie to death on this show. I'm going to be talking about it at least one more time later. So I wanted to
tune in January.
I'm proud of you.
So I made the conscious effort to not put this on my list, even though this is amazing.
All right. Cameron Olson, your number
5. My number 5 is Waitress. All right. I had a feeling I could be alone on this one.
What's your pick?
My song is She Used to Be Mine. It's She Used to Be Mine.
Wow, what?
Wow, what a shocker. Someone who likes Waitress picked She Used to Be Mine. This show is fantastic. I got the opportunity to see it in November of 2019 because it came to my city, despite the fact that my city is, for the most part, kind of devoid of culture. But no, I think this show is brilliant. For those that don't know, it's based on the 2007 film starring Kerry Russell, and it's about a woman who works at a diner who's trying to leave her abusive husband, and then as she's about to make that decision, she finds out that she's pregnant with his child, and so has to deal with that, and then she starts having an affair with her gynecologist. It's a really interesting, really cool show. The music is written by Sarah Bareilles, who does such a good job writing the music. It's such an emotional show. Jesse Mueller is brilliant and rips my heart out every time I listen to this song. This song is like basically the last song before she ends up giving birth to her child. And it's basically like she's kind of lost everything. She's lost her relationship. She lost like all of her security, all of her stability and everything. And she's just breaking down and is basically singing to her unborn child where it's like, I didn't ask for this, but I'm going to do everything I can. And it's like, she's talking about the person she used to be, the person that she could be, and like the person that she was trying to be for her child. This song destroys me. Seeing it live is incredible. I think this show is absolutely fantastic.
I have never seen Waitress, the movie or the show. But
the movie's not great.
I listened to the song many times, and I watched the Tonys performance because, unfortunately, this show was nominated against Hamilton, and you ain't gonna win that.
It lost everything it was nominated for to Hamilton, except for lead actress, which lost to The Color Purple. Which any other year, the show would do incredible.
Exactly, but the performance wrecked me. This was one of a few of I watched 2 or 3 Tony performances versions of some of the songs mentioned tonight, or will be mentioned tonight, just to get a live feel for it, see how it's done live. And all of them wrecked me. This one the most. So this is a very powerful song. Her performance is breathtaking. Just to see her, the way that she just kind of stumbles, the little movements that she makes where she stumbles just because she knows that in a song number in a musical, you would move. In the show, she's very pregnant in the scene. So she knows if she tried to make them move, just the stumble, the shuffle, the weight of moving around on the stage with the extra sort of weight of a baby is really, really great acting. She's phenomenal. This song is heartbreaking.
So there's a cover I'll show you later that's done by like a traditionally punk singer of this song, and it's incredible.
Okay. But again, I don't know if I would put this in the top 10 shows. I can't speak to it. I haven't seen it. But the song is amazing. And if the entire show is like the song, I wouldn't be mad if it was in the 10th through 8. 5, maybe a little high. But fair. It's a you list. This is a very you show. Barr.
This is a show I've been dying to see because when I heard that they were doing this as a musical, I was like, that could work. Then I heard they got Sarah Bareilles, and I was like, I don't know about this. Then I heard this cast recording, and I went, this is brilliant. Yeah, I've been wanting to see this one. I just haven't yet, so I couldn't put it on my list.
Okay, Spence, Waitress.
Yeah, no, I talked with Cam when this topic first got announced, like, oh, I need to watch these shows. I didn't get to this one. I would have loved to watch it. I just couldn't find the time, but I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to make sure I was prepared for a topic. Now we're gonna fucking get to that later. But yeah, no, I couldn't get to it, unfortunately.
All right, Cody, have you heard of Waitress? Have you seen Waitress?
Possible collusion. So COVID happened. This was on my slate of musicals to see this year live, and COVID happened along with Hamilton for the second time. So 2020 sucks.
Me too.
But I don't know much about it. I was playing the song, and then my wife walked out of the thing and goes, "Why are you playing my favorite song?" And I said, "What favorite song?" And it's just like, it's from Waitress. And I was like, how the hell do you know this? And I know it was this weird sort of events. But no, it sounds beautiful. I wanted to see it. I just haven't been able to. And there's certain ones that I don't want to see a bootleg. Like, I'll bring it up. But yeah, I don't want to see a bootleg of it. I want to actually sit in this audience and watch it. So, but I don't blame everybody that has to do bootlegs. I completely understand theater tickets are insane.
I'm broken from Canada. It's my only choice.
Yeah, and you're allowed to bootleg everything, so it's all right. Canada is the land of free shit. So.
That's fair. This is a show that I would also very much like to see, but thanks for killing the theater industry, COVID. All right. Cameron Holtzman, you're number 4.
Thanks for putting me out of jail.
My number 4 is, I think, it's one of the 2 newest shows on my list. My number 4 is Beetlejuice.
And your song choices?
Song choice is Say My Name.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one that I sort of heard about when it was coming out and everything, and then I didn't really get into it until end of last year, early this year, and then all of a sudden, one day I was on a drive to work and I was like, oh, I have this soundtrack on my phone, I'm going to listen to it. I turned it on, and that hit hard. I immediately found a bootleg and was like, I watched it, and then I went, Koho, Spence, everybody, you should watch Beetlejuice because it's fun and it's awesome. It's an adaptation of the movie. The writers change a few things about the movie just to make it work better for stage and to add a bit more story to it. But it still has the strong essence of the movie. The lead is Alex Brightman, who is the greatest comedic actor currently working on Broadway. Unless Nathan Lane is still super active, in which case I retract that statement. The stuff he's able to do with his voice to do the Beetlejuice voice is incredible. He literally trained his voice to be able to do the scratchy voice and not die. I picked Say My Name. It's not my favorite song in the show, but I picked it because it's one that is both, you get Beetlejuice in it and you get Lydia in it. Because I think the whole being dead thing is one that gets the essence of the show, and it is just Beetlejuice being Beetlejuice. But I also wanted Sophia Ann Caruso's vocals featured in whatever song I picked, because that girl is 19 and is belting her soul out every night. And one of the songs she does makes me cry uncontrollably when I hear it. I think this song is super fun. It's basically the moment where Beetlejuice and Lydia first meet, and he's trying to convince her to say her name so that he can begin to manifest in the world. And she essentially is yeah, no thanks. You're trying to trick me, and I'm fully aware that you're trying to trick me. So have fun with that. Bye. And he's just annoyed and frustrated with her. Yeah, Beetlejuice is really cool. There's a free full-length bootleg of it on YouTube, and I highly recommend it.
Yes, when you gave this to me, I watched it pretty immediately because I had heard of the Beetlejuice musical, I hadn't seen it. After watching it, I wish it wasn't gone. It ended right before COVID happened too, and
it was supposed to end just after COVID hit. COVID may actually end up saving this show, which I think is insane.
Great, because this is a show.
No, they already put up the banner for the next show at that theater.
Damn it. But this is a show that
which is the music.
This is a show that should live on because it is very cool and very fun. Top 5 greatest musicals ever. You're a little crazy.
So was Beetlejuice.
Exactly. But this would not be my 4. This is a little high, but this is a really fun show. It's a really good show. The music's really solid. Alex Brightman is fantastic. His Tony's performance of the whole Being Dead thing is top 10 Tony's performances of all time.
Yeah.
I love the whole Being Dead thing. It's my favorite song in this show. It's the most, it's just maybe because it's the most Beetlejuice song in here. And my least favorite parts of the show are when Beetlejuice isn't in it. Like, I like Lydia. She's good. Her song where she gets the belt on her own is great. But anytime Beetlejuice and Alex Brightman are there, the show instantly goes up to 11. And every time it goes away, it's about a 7. So if a show that has that problem, I wouldn't necessarily put in the top 5. I could maybe see it being my 10 in the future just because I really enjoyed it. Also, there's another show I guarantee you we're going to bring up later. Should not have won one of the Tonys over Beetlejuice. Just saying.
Yep. We're going to get there, and we're going to get there later than I expect.
We'll get there later. But Beetlejuice, really fun time. Cody, have you seen Beetlejuice the musical or heard of it?
I've heard of it. I've listened to the soundtrack. I really like the soundtrack. It's kind of one of these things that I don't think sounds like it will work, and then I listen to it and it does. Kind of like the Addams Family. It's not on my list, but like Addams Family is one that when I saw it live, I was like, this should never fucking work, and it works perfectly. And then I saw the Tony performance for Beetlejuice, and I was like, yep, that would definitely work for me. So perfectly.
Oh, so what are you doing?
Someone's listening to me. That's I appreciate
it.
That.
My phone, and I tried to push volume down, and it's
no. So yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great. I can't wait to see the show, but if I can see the show, but I don't know more beyond the soundtrack.
If this show ever goes touring, I will throw fists to get inside to see it.
And ironically, the show that did kill and take over the theater that Beetlejuice is in is The Music Man, because we don't deserve nice things.
I hate this. Okay, why do we need the 80th version of the most mediocre 50s show? Spence, go.
I have seen this actually. That's the same rip that Holton's talking about. I enjoyed it. I think the rip actually like hampered my enjoyment of the show because some of the really big costuming and props and staging and everything sort of got cut off by the way it was framed, which is the only thing holding me back from like actually putting it on my list. It would have made my list if I had gotten something better. But I need to listen to the soundtrack a lot more. I love Say My Name. I also love Dead Mom. Home's great. If I could do anything, I recommend there's a podcast I listen to called Musical Splaining, and they covered this show before, right after Sophia Ann Caruso left the show for unknown reasons. They replaced her, and just talking about how much the show changes when you don't have her. So it's such a strong core character. Because when you remove the best Lydia and get a okay Lydia, the show sort of falls apart. Same thing's gonna happen with Beetlejuice if Alex Brightman can't continue. But the soundtrack itself, what we have currently from the Broadway cast, is great.
Barr, Beetlejuice. You were nodding along when I said top 10 Tony performances ever. Thoughts?
Absolutely, because Alex Brightman is a god. And I kind of worship the ground that he walks on because he has made it able for people that are like my type to actually get bigger roles now.
Yep.
Yeah, so I have seen this and I really like it. It's just a little too soon for me. If I see it more, it could creep into my top 10, but right now it's probably in my top 50. But like as I said, only seen it one time.
Fair. All right. Moving over to Cody Newberry, 7 through 4. Take
We're
Metro
going
Trip.
to piss some people off.
This
Okay.
far.
The only one that I have, I'm a lot faster than most of you guys in talking. So, my number 7 is one that I have never seen. It's just soundtrack only, but it's gonna get yikes. It's Dear Evan Hansen.
Yikes! Wait, what?
Wait, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not wearing a fucking shirt from the show, but yeah, I have it high.
That's not why I'm surprised.
Hold on, moving on.
You're all
Cody.
Zoomers.
Is it because I had it on there?
No.
Okay.
I'll
My
explain.
6, we'll see what happens. My 6 is from the movie, and it's Hairspray, the 2007 version of Hairspray.
Respect.
And I picked the song that I absolutely love. It's probably not the best one. It's probably not one, but it's Welcome to the 60s. I think somewhat this musical is not like beloved. I actually think it's great. I think it's really good for what the movie actually does. I saw the original movie of it, and I'm not a huge fan. I was supposed to see the musical version of it this year as well. Didn't get a chance, but I think this song is a lot of fun. I think overall the entire show is a lot of fun to watch and sing along with. I think the music's great. Even John Travolta, regardless, say what you want, I think it's a fantastic editor blend. So yeah, it's Hairspray.
Hairspray's good. I don't. It's fine. I've never been a huge Hairspray fan. I can't even fault you for it because, like, I get it. Welcome to the 60s is my probably second favorite song from the show. I think the final song is just really hard to beat. That's the show in a nutshell.
Exactly.
But I love John Travolta in the movie. I don't know where this hate's coming from because I think he's great. And you know, I think everyone in that show works really well. Even you know, Zac Efron as, you know, pretty boy as he always is, Link Larkin. But I think that it's good. I can't fault you. I watched this scene again. It is a lot better than I remember it being. I think my biggest problem with Hairspray is I just don't remember everything that happens. I keep forgetting where things are and what the songs are, and that's not a fault on the show. It's just I don't connect to Hairspray. But I've seen it live. I had friends who did it. One of my friends played Link Larkin once, and that was a weird experience to watch. He was not the right Link Larkin, but it was it's good. I can't fault you. Top 10, sure. Number 6, perfectly fine.
Yeah, I actually really like this movie. I think it's really fun. I agree with Cody. People seem to hate on John Travolta, but like he's just having fun, and we just get to like John Travolta and Christopher Walken make out in this movie.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
So immediately worth the price of admission. But no, I think this movie.
Caleb Boatman favorite.
Yeah, but no, I think this movie is really fun. I love the musical. I think the soundtrack is great. It's one of the only physical CDs that is currently in my car.
Respect.
No, I really enjoyed it. I think it's great. I think the actress that they cast as Tracy in this movie is a really, really good Tracy. I probably would have picked Without Love. That's probably my song that I would pick in this show because that song is just super fun. But yeah, no, I can't fault this pick.
Yeah. All right. Spence, Hairspray.
Yeah, I would have if it was on my list, I would have picked Good Morning Baltimore, partially for the creepy John Waters cameo. That's a lot of fun. I saw this for the first time over quarantine. I really enjoyed it. It lacked something to me. I don't know what it was. I really enjoyed it overall. I have nothing against it. Just it didn't connect with me the way it probably should have. But it's a good pick. It's a really good pick.
Barr, Hairspray.
So I have not seen the movie, so I can't judge it on the movie. The stage version, I have problems with. A lot of the songs start to really blend together for me. There's always at least one song that sounds almost exactly like another song earlier on. Link is kind of a bland character, and I think Penny's kind of annoying.
But Amanda Bynes.
Look, I love pretty crazy Amanda Bynes, but I have problems with this. The stage.
You have the music, man.
That's got a lot of charm to it, though.
It has.
Like if you had a cavity, if you had a cavity and got shot with Novocaine, you could still feel the fucking sweetness through it. It would ruin. That's not the music, man. It is terrible. Don't talk about annoying when you have a fucking 76 trombones.
76 trombone sounds like every other song in that show. Yes, it does. If you just listen to all of them together, they all sound the same visually.
Not true at all. Not at all. No,
yes,
you cannot tell me. You cannot tell me their Twitter review sounds like.
Or you can shut the fuck up. All right, Cody Newberry, you're number 5.
Oh, get ready to watch Barr fly off the screen. This is going to be my favorite moment.
Let me put my drink down.
This is from the movie. This is from 2005, and it's The Producers.
I'm okay with this.
Wow. The song I picked, it's not double dipping. It is completed on this soundtrack as 2 different songs, but they are together. It's Springtime for Hitler and Hill Myself. by far the best version of this musical, this number. Gary Beach, I think is his name, that plays Hitler in it. That like puts up the thing. He is hilarious in that. Like when he shows up after they do this big number, that you're like, oh my gosh, they actually put on a musical about Hitler. And then as soon as he shows up in full Hitler, and you're like, wow, and they just continue going with it. I think this movie gets way too much hate. Way too much hate. I think Nathan Lane is better than the original, and I think Gene Wilder is better than Matthew Broderick. At that point, it's a wash. It's a wash at that point. But the movie, this 2005, the music is way better in this one than it was in the Mel Brooks one. It's just a proven fact. There are parts that you can hate about both, but this one is a lot of fun. It is super entertaining. I think it's one of Nathan Lane's best performances in this movie, in any movie. Yeah, producers, 2005. Come at me. It's fantastic.
I'm going to one-up you. Nathan Lane's best performance of all time is the
Well,
producers.
he played Timon, so...
he is greatest Timon, but then you got the semantics of voice versus live action.
Fair, okay.
But I think...
is close, too.
It's close, but I'll put the caveat then. Best live action performance is ever given. But his performance to the producers is incredible. He is excellent, and this is better than Mel Brooks' movie. It is so much fun. I don't know how the producers exists without music, because I think every song works. Springtime for Hitler / How Myself is where everything builds to the exact moment you've been waiting for, and especially in the movie when you get to watch all the people just disgusted and walk out, and you see Broderick and Lane hiding in the back trying to contain laughter, and then the turn when all of a sudden people start laughing and they sit back down and they start to breathe easier because they think it's a satire, and Broderick and Lane are like, oh no, this is not what we intended. It's just the perfect build of all of it. I think that show is fantastic. There's a reason why it's the most winning Tony award-winning show in history of musicals, because it's fantastic. My personal pick, I Want to Be a Producer, is like the go-to for me. I really like it. Broderick is not my favorite part of the show, but I think he plays his part very well. I think it's one of his better outings. But in the end,
I didn't pick that. The only reason, because I haven't seen like the actual version of it, and he brings that version down for me. So I picked where he's not involved.
That is fair. But yeah, I think this is a fantastic choice. Easily a top 10 musical of all time. Great choice. How the fuck do the other three of you not have the producers? Starting with Andrew James Barr, Mr. Music Man and Camelot. Tell me,
you may want to save me. You may want to save me for last.
Sure, I'll save you for last, Papa Barr. Go play with your 76 trombones again. Holtzman.
So I don't have it because once again I made the deal that I was going to go only stage. I have seen both of the movie versions. I know that the movie version, this 2005 one, is basically almost a direct it's basically a direct adaptation of the stage version, but it still felt like off to me to pick it. I watched this movie like years ago, and I just rewatched it last month because I was like, I'm going to watch Nathan Lane movies, and then I only watched this in The Birdcage. But still, he's great in both of those. Nathan Lane is one of the greatest comedic actors of all time. I think this movie's super fun. I think it's super funny. Just the entire idea of they are trying as hard as they can to make everything go wrong, and it works out perfectly that it goes so well, where it's like they pick the worst possible actor, the worst possible director, and then what do you have? You have gay, effeminate Hitler, and people think that it's a satire, and I think it's just really, really funny. I think it's incredibly charming. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. Barr is a different person.
Spence, the producers.
So what I'm hearing, Holtzman, is that they couldn't just film the stage version. Technically, that wouldn't count as a movie, and people wouldn't respect it.
Yeah, Spence is just going for the F tonight, folks.
No, Cole, that's me agreeing with you. That's me agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
No, like, I haven't seen this. I've seen the 68 version because I like Mel Brooks. That's cool. I wanted to listen to the show. Couldn't find the time. Respect the pick. That's it. Yep.
All right, Barr, go ahead and steal yourself last place.
The stage version is in my top 20.
Okay, then I'll retract my statement.
I love the stage version. I think that the stage version of this musical is absolutely fantastic and easily in the top 20 race, if not top 15. The problem is the movie is not good. And here's why I say that. Susan Stroman's direction is not good. It is not shot like a movie. It's shot as if she's just shooting the stage version. It's still shots, wide shots, and like one shots. It doesn't work as a movie because it seems way too stiff. And once again, it's like she's just trying to film the stage version, but she's not treating it like a movie. That's my only problem with it.
Barr's biggest problem with the musical, the cinematography. Good to know.
Yes.
All right.
So
well,
the numbers, the acting, everything else is fine. It's
Uma Thurman and Will Ferrell are improvements. So cool. But cinematography,
Uma
sure.
Thurman's just kind of
Barr wanted a camera to pan through a window down to the park instead of just an edit. Cool. Good for you. All right. You know what?
There barely was any edits.
Listen, Grandpa Barr.
And that's what's great about it.
Go back to 76
The conversation between them at the
Go
beginning
back
is
to the
great.
times where you can do black and white movies. It's what you clearly want. Cody, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is the stage version.
Okay.
Because there hasn't been a movie version of this yet. It's the Book of Mormon.
And your song choice?
Song choices, I believe. There's a lot that I could have chose. Like I could have chose Hello. I could have chose 2x2. I could have chose Hasadiga Ibawai. I could choose a lot. Baptize Me. There's a lot. I think this musical is incredible. I am the least South Park fan that you could ever find. I think South Park is honestly an abomination. I hate it. But when I heard there was a musical coming out by these guys, I said, yeah, no thanks. Then I was part of my season ticket run at the theater, so I went to see it. I sat next to a 70-year-old woman, and I listened to the soundtrack prior. So when Hasadiga Ibawai came on, I was like, oh gosh, this lady's about to flip out, and she's laughing and singing with her. It was a great time. I believe is one of those things because this one, if you haven't seen the thing, I'm not going to bash on anything, but this just basically goes through all the stuff what the Mormon religion believes. And he just basically he finally, it's that turn in the show, and I think he does an amazing job in this song, is where he just bursts through and just sings in like this African war camp, basically, and just sings, and they're like, what the fuck is this? And he just keeps going and says that they changed their mind about black people. Like, it goes, it is so in your face. It's not, if you are part of the Mormon religion, I'm not going to say anything bad. It's just, this is not the musical for you, I would say. But they just throw everything at you. And I think this movie is hilarious. I didn't get to see it with like Josh Gad, and I think that would have been a great version. But the one I had was hilarious as well. I think the show is incredible. I really do. I think it's great.
South Park sucks. This
true.
is better than anything South Park has ever made. Because it takes everything that's good about South Park, their biting commentary and jokes that hold no bars, and gives it an actual message that is respectable. Because at the end of the day, this is a musical about why you should have a belief system. At the end of the day, why it's whatever you believe, it's okay to believe in something because that's what makes you human. And that's the message of the show by the end of it. And throughout it, it throws its punches at the thing that they both grew up being because they had their own issues with it, say what they will. But they took what they knew and told a pretty great story about belief systems all the way through that ends on a really happy note, on a really solid note that I was really impressed by. I think it's hilarious through to through. I think it's some of the best songs Trey Parker and MISCELLANEOUS have ever written, and that includes anything from Bigger, Longer, Uncut that I've watched, which was the only good songs that they had made up to this point. And this blows all of it out of the water. I believe is the cherry on top. I love All American Prophet so much. I think it is so good. That is the most co-host song of that entire show because it's just this long sprawling joke that has 3 parts to it all the way through. But I believe is the one that I will always love, just because how it builds to him breaking into the camp. It is just so great. Andrew Rannells, his Tony performance, another one I would put in the top 10 when he does this song live at the Tonys. Top 10 Tony performances of all time. This show is fantastic. Easily top 10. Honestly, close to top 5. I think 4 is perfect placement. Anywhere higher, I could understand, but I still wouldn't go with you on it. Fantastic show. Great choice. Andrew James Barr, Book of Mormon, thoughts?
I love the cast recording. I probably would have picked Hello. Either that or maybe even Turn It Off, because Turn It Off makes me giggle uncontrollably. However, the only problem is I haven't seen it and I haven't read it, so I can't judge it fairly enough. So.
That is very fair. Holtzman.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this show. This was probably hanging out in like the 15 to 20 range for me. I think it's really funny. I also would have picked All American Prophet because I love the joke. It's like, we are starting this as we are educating you about our religion. And then it turns into, look at me. I am the God you should worship.
My favorite joke in that song, though, is the Return of the Jedi joke. The Return of the Jedi.
The Bible is a trilogy, and the Book of Mormon is Return of the Jedi.
It's such a great joke.
But no, I think this show is really fun. I think it's really funny. Josh Gad and Andrew Rannells are both fantastic in it. There's moments where it goes a little too far for me personally. Like, I don't know, Hasani Ibuai, knowing what the public knows about me, little too far for me. But no, I think this show's really fun. I think this show's really funny. I agree. I hate South Park. But no, this is a great pick. I respect it.
Spence, you had pretty visceral reactions, and we already know you're wrong. Tell us another wrong take that'll solidify you last place.
Suck a dick. So number 1, Cody, right choice. This is the best song in the show by far. It's incredible. It actually says like the point of the show. It's a great pick. There are 3 musicals actually I hate with a fucking passion. Rent, Phantom of the Opera, and Book of Mormon. I fucking despise this show. I've actually been to this live.
That is 3 strikes around.
I wanted to fucking die. I nearly walked out of the halfway point because it's horrendously unfunny. I don't give a shit about anyone involved, even including, like, yeah, you can have, like, unlikable lead characters. Doesn't matter. I didn't fucking care about anyone. I just wanted the show to end as soon as possible. When one of your big emotional clinch points is, hey, look, people have accents, laugh at them. It's not fucking funny. And I actually enjoy South Park. I think there's a lot going. I think there's good fucking writing in there. I think the stigma against South Park is in its earlier seasons. I won't deny that. It's just dick jokes and shit jokes, not funny. Modern seasons are good. The social commentary you want to look for in that's what you have in modern season. This show is fucking bad. It's really fucking bad. You have all right musical, like some of the songs are actually well composed, but what they're creating and the story they're creating is fucking awful. I despise every fucking second I watch of this show.
You lose a debate because you said awful, but you didn't say why it's awful because you don't know why it's awful.
I literally just said, I don't care about any of the characters, and it's unfunny. Listen to what I'm fucking saying, Koho. That could help.
That doesn't mean it's awful.
I had all 3 of the ones Spence despises with a passion.
It's almost like we have opposing opinions, Cody.
That's crazy.
All right, we're gonna move on to Spence. You're number 3.
Oh, hey, yeah. So, speaking of shows that Cody or Koho just doesn't like, number 3 is Wicked.
Oh, same.
Oh, nice. Yeah. My pick is Defying Gravity.
Same.
Yeah. Actually, I had to see this live, which was an incredible fucking experience.
Barr had that.
Sorry.
I actually, yeah. And I actually had, my song was For Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's on your list, Holtzman.
No.
We're going to talk to you in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, again, I got, like, I was going to touch on this with Chicago earlier, is just the live setting is what just sort of defines my perception of it. I saw this live and holy shit. I talked about the show briefly with Koho like a few months ago, talking about how like it's impossible to film. And it's with Defying Gravity. It is the emotional clenching point of the show. You need to pull that off perfectly, and it is fucking incredible to see live. When you see Alphaba raised above the stage and the cloak billowing behind her, she hits the high notes. It is a revelatory experience. That is the moment where I truly regretted not being able to pursue theater as a passion because it felt like my life changed. It is a brilliant, wonderful musical that I re-listened to the soundtrack before I submitted my list, and I still loved every bit of it. I miss being there in person, watching the show. I think Alphaba and Jesus Christ, my brain is not working. No,
Glinda.
Thank you, Glinda. I think they're wonderful characters. I think to me, this is what Broadway sounds like. To me, this is what defined Broadway for me at a younger age. And I pursued it and I kept trying to follow it. And then I saw it 2 years ago, I think it was. And I feel like my life has changed. We're going to add more later, but this feels like just a core memory of mine that I don't want to lose.
Cody, you had a 3.
So I find it funny that we have differing opinions and then we have it at the exact same spot in the same song. So I have been on record that I do not want to see a movie version of this at all, because it is the one. This is the one thing that you cannot give justice, because in a movie, if she rises up and she starts singing, well, guess what? That's just a woman on a broom that's flying up. It's not that impressive. But in a sitting, I've seen a lot of musicals live, and this is the one that I've been on record that this is the greatest going into an intermission song that's ever been done. I don't think there's one even close to it, because I've seen a lot, and when this song plays and the one song sings, the first time I saw it, everybody remained like they didn't stand up, they didn't move. The intermission just went over, and we started the next one. No one even moved. I don't think anybody went to the bathroom. I think they just pissed themselves. I'm not sure. And this is the musical that made me hate The Wizard of Oz. I hate The Wizard of Oz. I hate it with a passion because I like this story a lot better. And it just has such an important message. I could have went with a lot of choices on that. I think For Good, that was our senior song. So that's why I didn't choose that one, basically, because I've heard that a ton. But I think that's also great. A Wizard and I is a great song. This entire soundtrack is filled with hits after hits after hits for me. And I think like seeing it live in the stage and how it all moves as gears and things, I think Dancing Through Life, this musical, I do not want to see live, because I only want to see a stage recording of it. I do not want to see an actual movie, because I think this thing is absolutely a perfect musical.
And, yeah, I had it at 6. I think that this is probably one of the best examples of how you can blend story and spectacle together. And I think this is also Steven Schwartz's best work overall. And he's been working since the 70s. And I chose For Good because you really capture the true friendship between Elphaba and Galinda with this song. It's also just one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard, because it just seems the most, like, one of the most genuine things I've ever heard in my life. So yeah, I think this musical is absolutely fantastic. People should go see this when, theater comes back and all.
All right. I have said many times, over the course of the night, cited Tony's performances as to pieces of why I love it. I have given rankings over the course of the night. Number 1, Defying Gravity, the best Tony's performance of all time. Idina Menzel's best performance ever is as Elphaba in Wicked. Like, Defying Gravity is going to be the quintessential song because of the this is where the spectacle kicks in, and it's for a reason. It's still makes me cry every time I watch the video. Every time, without fail. Defying Gravity is great. Wicked is a phenomenal song, or it's not song, show, all the way through. I am having a massive blank as to the song where she sings about the scarecrow. Dead. She makes the villain. What is that one again?
No good deed goes unpunished. No good deed.
Yeah,
no good deed.
That might be my personal favorite one, but Defying Gravity and For Good are the top 2 for sure. For Good for me will always go a little bit below Defying Gravity. That was my graduation song. We sang it as a choir, and two years before, last 2 years before, my choir still sang it for the other one, so it didn't mean as much to me because I sang it for 2 classes before me. And I was a little tired of it, so it'll be 2 behind Defying Gravity, but I do love For Good. I have that attachment for it. But Wicked is great all the way through. Wicked doesn't destroy the Wizard of Oz the way it destroys Cody, but I still really
literally looks at Dorothy and says, "What are you doing? Stealing? Who steals a dead girl's shoes?" Like, it literally just rips her apart. It's fantastic.
I can separate them as being 2 different interpretations of 2 different sides, but still, I think Wicked is the much better piece of art than the Wizard of Oz.
One was literally written almost 100 years after the first one. So
anyway, Wicked at the end of the day, I think, is a top 3 musical easily, for sure. Fantastic choice. Barr has it a little low. And Holtzen, you're on trial. You don't have it at Paul,
Yeah.
why?
So I have seen this show once. I've seen it once, and I was 11, so I don't remember it very well. And honestly, that's my main thing. Is I know my brain goes, "Hey, that was great," but when I was 11, I thought a lot of things were great, including the film adaptation of The Last Airbender. I was so I have yet to revisit it since I got older and since I've become like more involved in theater, and so I couldn't justify myself. I really enjoy the soundtrack. On my last day of my senior year of musical theater, for mic check, every senior gets to sing a full song, and me and my best friend duetted For Good, the two of us, and both of us were weeping by the end. But it's just like, I love the songs. I just need to go back and revisit it because I don't remember it super well.
Fair enough. You're still on track. All right. That was Spence's 3. We go to Barr for his 3.
I'm genuinely hoping that this is gonna get yikes. Still, it's Les Miserables.
That is also my 3. Okay.
Okay, it's been yikes. All right.
And I
Colt's
picked the
been
stage
3 has been
version.
skipped then.
My 3 is Les Mis.
And we already went to Cody's 3. We're all the way back around the horn. Spence, what's your 2?
Oh, no, it's one last one. My number 2 is Dear Evan Hansen.
All right, Spence, you ain't
Yeah, there you go.
talking. All
Good,
right. Barr, what is your 2?
I'm going to be doing some talking here because no one else is going to have this but me. My number 2 is my favorite Stephen Sondheim show of all time. And it's actually my favorite show of all time. It's just not as well constructed as my number 1. My number 1 of all time, my number 2 is Company.
Wow. Your song choice?
Oh, my song choice was the obvious. It's the pumpkin spice latte choice. It's Being Alive.
Yep.
All right, talk about it.
Okay, so Company. It's a concept musical. Basically, it follows a guy as he reevaluates his life as he interacts with his friends and his relationships. It's super simple. It's a bare bones plot, but it actually really helps out with the story a lot. I specifically picked the 2006 Broadway revival with Raul Esparza, who gives an utterly fantastic performance as Bobby. And it's just, it's more developed than the original 1970 version. And I just think that the emotional arc that the character of Bobby goes through, because this is a character piece, it is focused solely on his growth. It's so well done. Because as you see him interact with his friends, you see the side of him that's very introverted and he doesn't want to really grow attachments to people. And then you suddenly get to the point at the end of the show where he wants that relationship with somebody. He needs someone to hold. He needs someone to hold him too close. He needs someone to sit in his chair and ruin his sleep. And Being Alive is just arguably Sondheim's greatest song that he's ever written. The power and the build and the lyrics, it's just utterly phenomenal. I think the show is amazing. The only reason it's my number 2 is because there are parts of Act 1 that are a little wonky, but otherwise, I think this is great.
Okay. This was one of the other ones that I watched for this. I watched the entire show at Mr. Andrew James Barr's request because he provided me with the ability to. So I watched the entire thing. I don't think this is a top 10 musical of all time. I think it is fine. The whole thing works okay. But the performance that you follow all the way through, the guy who plays Bobby, like you said, Raul, is utterly incredible. And Being Alive is the linchpin that brings everything together in a way where I was like, okay, now I get it. I still don't necessarily enjoy the whole thing, but I love Being Alive. I think that song is fantastic. I think his performance in that song is fantastic. I would never put Company at top 2 musicals of all time. I think that's a little insane. And I think I think the performance in the song Being Alive, if we were doing musical songs, this would definitely be on my top 10 songs. I'll give you that for sure. Especially specifically the Raul performance. But this is not number 2. Little insane. And I'm a little worried about what comes after this. If it's not what I think it is. Because Les Mis is already gone. And there's a couple shows that you have not brought up yet. This goes for all of you. don't fuck me here. But Being Alive, great song, great performance. Not a great musical, but I get it.
Guys, I think he knows.
Holtzman. Don't do this. Holtzman. That's uncomfortable.
I'm familiar with this musical a little bit. I know the song because every person who does theater knows the song because everyone has seen at least five to 10 different tenor males audition with the song.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in Marriage Story, which is probably why most non-theater people know the song. I think the song is beautiful. It's incredibly well done. Raul Esparza's performance of it is great. Adam Driver's performance of it in Marriage Story is great. Chris Colfer does a really beautiful version of it on Glee. Yeah. I don't want to be the guy who keeps bringing up Glee, but he's really good in it. Like this song keeps getting done for a reason, but also like there are other songs, tenors. There are songs besides Being Alive and Joanna.
And Empty Chairs and Empty Tables.
And Empty Chairs.
Don't put me on. No, you're right. I'm on your side. Cody.
I haven't seen this one. I just saw that I could see it on YouTube, so I may check it out.
I think that you will respect it more than you like it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I'm the easiest person to read in this entire damn community. No, I think 10 may be insane because again, I did very cookie cutter ones. Everybody else is like filtered in some like not obvious ones. So this would not make my list, even if I would have probably heard it. But I've heard the song again, and the song's great. But
I also just to put cherry on top, before I found the version, because I did have to message you again which version, because I just listened to the songs before. I listened to the Neil Patrick Harris one, and it's still really good. He's still really good. But Raul is amazing. I almost said Esperanza Spalding because that fucking name's in my head. Anyway, Spence.
Yes, I saw this for the first time later last year. Adam Driver's great. Scarlett Johansson playing an actual white lady. Very, very against type. Great for her. I've never fucking seen this.
Okay. Holtzman, you're number 2.
We're about to tip my hand here. And we're also about to skip. We're about to skip something.
Don't hurt me.
My 2 is Hades Town. Say yikes, Spence.
Yikes.
Hand has been tipped.
No, you see this fucking list. Don't even try.
My 2 is Hades
What
Town.
is that?
It won the Tony for Best Musical last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the other one that sounds similar in name.
Okay. All right.
I love Hellville.
Okay. All right. That's a knife right in my spine. Cody Newberry, you're number 2.
Mine is movie or stage, whichever one you want to determine this to be, but this is Hamilton. And it's wait for it. This is, and some people could say pandering. Some people could say not. No, I think this is, if I didn't grow up with my number 1 my entire life, then this one would, wait. No one else said yikes. That's sad. That's a sad day. Okay. So I'm clearly not losing your list. I clearly won the episode I showed up on. That's fun. Okay. So what do I say about Hamilton that hasn't already been said? I think this movie is I said movie. This musical is incredible. I've seen it live. The version I saw live was not as great as the version I see on Disney Plus. I think this musical just... I remember I was working at AMC movie theaters. The first song of Quiet Uptown came on. I skipped it like 14 times before that. And I said, I'm just going to listen to Hamilton because I'm out of skips on Pandora or whatever. And I listened to it. I was like, oh, man, that's really cool. And then Alexander Hamilton came on. And then the last 2 years, since 2016, I've listened to the album probably once a month, every month. I think it's incredible. Wait For It is the song I chose because Wait For It is literally the definition of what this movie is about. This musical hangs on this song and this song alone. Basically, one will not throw away their shot. They will continue running for what they deserve, and Burr will wait his time and do what he can. And when he waits for a certain time, he waits too long and literally throws away his life, basically, is how the movie boils down at the end. He takes a shot where he doesn't need to and ruins it. I think that's This musical's incredible. There's not much more I can say about it. It's fantastic. Well, I'm gonna win your list.
There are three knives pretty deep in my back right now. And, if anyone's looking for a new trade here, I'm willing to trade Cameron Holtzman off. If you need someone wants Cameron Holtzman. Spence was never in, so I'm okay. I'm covered. And
First he votes against it.
He votes against it, then he doesn't put it on his damn list. All right, you know what, Holtzman? I'm done with you, piece of shit. Hamilton.
I'm not your teammate anymore, so
good. I'm glad. I couldn't trust you with the knives in my back. All right. Look,
this
Hamilton.
isn't the first time I've done this.
Should be everyone's number one. I'm sorry, it should be. It should be.
Cody can still lose.
Here's the thing. It's the greatest musical ever made for many reasons. No one saw that. This shouldn't work. This musical should not work. It's rap in musical theater with absolutely no breaks, and yet it all comes together to be a perfect. It's better than Barr's fucking favorite musical ever, 1776. It's a better version of that.
Same Company's my favorite musical ever.
I don't give a shit. You bring up 1776 all the time. Get out of here. Look, Hamilton, I can't say much. It's my fourth favorite movie ever made. It's the best musical ever made. It's perfect in every way. I said it earlier. It's Lynn's magnum opus. He will never do anything better than this. Wait for it is the correct choice. I think it is, as Cody said, the song that summarizes the show. I personally really love a lot of the other ones too. One Last Time is my personal favorite song just because Christopher Jackson is a god. He can sing like a god. He's got the voice of an angel. I also really love Nonstop. That might be my personal second favorite. The Room Where It Happens, My Shot. There's so many songs in this music. Washington on Your Side. It's a perfect show. It's a perfect show. And the fact that none of you have it in your top 10 is asinine. Asinine. You have no reason to not put this on your list.
I mean, we do, but
yeah. See if you can defend it. Andrew James Barr, I know you're an old man. You haven't watched a musical past the year 2003, but
I have Wicked and Next to Normal, sir.
2003.
Next to Normal came out like 2011.
And Wicked came out in 2006.
Okay,
2004.
Fine. 2004, whatever. You haven't watched a musical this decade. Why no Hamilton?
Okay, so here's my thing. Here's my thing. First of all, to say that it's the first show to incorporate hip hop into their musical,
why it shouldn't?
You said it was the first. Sir, I'd like to bring in the noise, bringing the funk to you. So sit down.
Also, In the Heights.
Yeah, In the Heights.
I never said the first show, but okay.
Okay, so here's my thing. I really like Hamilton a lot. However, this is a musical that I am very, very curious to see what public opinion is of this musical in 5 years' time. Because right now, we are still in ultimate Hamilton hype cycle. And honestly, that can always cloud your vision of something when you see it. So I need time for this to breathe before I can put this on my top 10. I will absolutely put this in my top 20 right now, but this needs time to breathe before I can put it in my top 10.
I've had since 2016. It's still breathing pretty good. I like it.
But the release of the movie
makes it even better. I'm sorry, you get to see it actually live played out. It's great.
Okay. All right. Holtzman, why are you a dumbass?
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
So here's the thing. I really enjoy Hamilton. And Hamilton is in my top 10 favorite musicals of all time. There is a reason it is not on my list. And that reason's name is Kaleb Koho. We spent a full 10 weeks watching Your List Sucks to build up to you talking about Hamilton. And we all knew it was coming. We all knew it was going to happen. And then that's the only thing that people have been talking about in this community is Hamilton. Is Hamilton a movie? I just want to talk about things that aren't Hamilton. Is that too much to ask? Am I allowed to just like things that are not Hamilton And am I allowed to talk about things that I care about that no one else is talking about? I don't need to tell you that Hamilton is good, Koho.
No, you are not allowed to. This is my list of my show, and you now have lived up to. Your list fucking sucks.
Also, Barr, check the message I just sent you and answer yes or no.
Adelaide Spence.
So,
I know I've been a little hard on you this show. Maybe it's because your takes are.
Oh wait, on the show? Just this show? No one at the time.
Oh, everywhere too. That's fair. But can you ever redeem yourself right now by explaining why Hamilton is not on your list?
So, number 1, agreeing with Holtzman. Objectively, this would be my top 10 musical. It'd be my number 5. I've done the fucking math. I really, really love the show. It is perfection. This show is dictated by how high we have Hamilton. Objectively, that would be your key point, because if we know this is your number 1, why would we try and be against each other in that when we know that's our weighing thing? When we can try and give love to other musicals that actually deserve the light, actually deserve the time.
Okay, Hamilton deserves the love. Just we've given it the love it deserves already.
Why would we want to throw our list to the wind? It's like, oh, we didn't have Hamilton high enough. That dictates where we are. This is fair. This is balanced for us. This actually gives us a chance. I'm in last place no matter what. Doesn't matter about me.
I don't know what you mean by all of you not having Hamilton weighs your list. No one gave Cody this memo, so y'all just fucked yourselves. All right.
Barr, are you willing to say yes to the question I asked now?
So
No.
we are going to move on.
Fine.
We're going to move on. May God have mercy on your souls. Number 1s. Adelaide Spence. What is the best musical of all time?
Is this where you slam the clip button, it fucks up, and you end up jamming your head in a sweater?
Oh God, no.
Don't worry. All I have is I have a whiteboard right here. Oh yeah, no. So my number 1, no surprise, it's Hadestown.
Oh,
I'm picking Epic 1. I will explain why in a second.
Oh, sorry, that was my 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I picked Wait for Me.
Okay.
When I mentioned earlier that Wicked was one of the defining moments of my life, this is another one. Redshaw, you're correct. To me, Hadestown isn't the best musical of all time. It's one of the greatest pieces of art, period. I've tried to relive it every fucking second since I watched it the first time. I've never been so deeply in love with anything pretty much ever other than my favorite movie of all time. This feels like a revelatory experience. It is literal perfection. I cannot praise highly enough of fucking Reeve Carney, Andre DeShields, Anais Mitchell, everyone who contributed to this. It is literal perfection. The way Koho feels about Hamilton, I feel about Hadestown. I am not trying to buy every piece of merch possible, but I would if I could. I want to live this show for the everyday for the rest of my life. I am deeply in love with this entire production.
Holton, you have it as well. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. My bad.
Oh, just briefly, I picked Epic 1 because I didn't say it earlier, but just strictly for this show. So Nazario in the chat. So it's the story of Orpheus and Eurydice from Greek myth, and then sort of interweaving with the story of Hades and Persephone about just this deep love for someone so much that you're willing to change the world. It's fucking beautiful. I picked Epic 1 because in my mind I could not pick like a number 1 song from the show objectively or subjectively. So I try to go objectively. I thought if you're trying to show someone the show and they don't know anything about it, like naming Nazario or anyone else in the chat, I would show them Epic 1. It comes into different reprises and reforms later. I think it's a song that, while not the best song in the show, it's the one to show people here's what this show is about.
I disagree on that statement. I think Colton has the song of the show. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so Hadestown is my 2. I picked Wait for Me. I got to see this show back in 2016 because my uncultured hellhole of a town also somehow got the North American premiere of this show, which I don't understand. It premiered in my city, and I got to see it with the original cast. It has undergone a lot of changes between then and Broadway. I prefer the Broadway version from what I've seen and what I've listened to, but still, I think this show is just beautiful. I think the music is really interesting. Like Spence was saying, it takes the story and it puts it through like a 1930s Great Depression era inspired lens. I think it's really interesting. I picked Wait for Me. Wait for Me is the song that if you know one song from Hadestown, this is the one that you know. It's basically Orpheus making the choice to go after Eurydice and to go to Hadestown. It opens with Hermes doing like Andre DeShields is like mostly doing pretty much spoken word throughout this show, and he's incredible. He absolutely deserved his Tony win for this. Reeve Carney can do high male notes so well, and the fact that he wasn't nominated for the show is a travesty. I think the show is beautiful. I think it's really, really cool. I think it's really interesting. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's like post-industrial Greek mythology jazz folk rock musical.
So what I'm gonna say is, if we're gonna say Hamilton needs time to breathe, 5 years removed, how the fuck are you going to?
I didn't say that.
Me and Barr aren't the two people that said that.
How the hell are we going to put the last year's Tony Award winner on number 2 and number 1 best musical of all time?
Because
here's
Barr
the thing.
said that, and not the two of us.
Yeah.
Fine. Here's the thing. Hades Town is great. I think it's a fantastic show. It deserved to win the Tony. It is really cool. I love the music. My favorite song in the show is Chant. I think that song is excellent. But at the end of the day, top 10 would be in the bottom 3 for the top 10 at this point, just because it is 8 months old. It is like 8 months old at this point, maybe a year. And
I get a pass because it's like 5 years old for me.
Well, for you, it's 5 years old. For Spence, it's less than a year. But anyway, Hades Town is great. It is in my top 10, but it's like my number 8, 9, just because it hasn't earned anything with me yet, except that the impact of seeing it was incredible and listening to it constantly. It's a great show. To say it's the best musical of all time is insane at this point. And to say it's the second best is insane at this point, especially with what you two have put this above, is kind of ridiculous. I'm not even talking Hamilton. I'm talking a show that we still have yet to talk about. And that has earned every ounce of respect it's gotten. Look, it's great. Everyone who hasn't seen Hades Town or listened to Hades Town, please do, because it is fantastic. It deserves the praise it's getting right now, but not as much praise as it's giving it yet. Anyway, Mr. Cody Newberry, you looked pretty shocked all the way through upon hearing the name Hades Town. Thoughts?
You're muted.
I enjoy like the Tony Awards and stuff like that, but I try to avoid like stuff like that because I live close to St. Louis. St. Louis normally gets stuff like a year, maybe 2 years after stuff. They do the
Let's take that straight shot.
They do
Killed Andrew.
They normally do national, like off Broadway runs during the entire thing. So I had no idea what this is. The only musical there's only 2 musicals I've ever really just listened to the soundtrack without seeing the show. And Hamilton was 1 and Dear Evan Hansen is 2. So I haven't heard of this one yet. I try to avoid that stuff. But I mean, 2 people here. I trust most of Cameron Holtzman's opinions on musicals. I don't think they're all trash. So I'll check it out. I would rather see if it's this great, if it's this like great of a musical, I'd rather see it live than listen to a soundtrack and then wait. So especially bootleg. So
it is for the most part, it is an opera. So the entire show is on the soundtrack. But
okay. So that would work like a Hamilton. So yeah, I can check
it would work like a Hamilton. The other thing I will say is I alluded to it earlier as like a small dig. Hades Town won basically all of its Tonys. The one that it shouldn't have won is set design. Because Beetlejuice's set is 10 times better. Because there is no set to Hades Town, and we gave it as for nothing. That's cool. Anyway, just to make Spence even more mad. Barr, Hades Town, thoughts?
I've heard some of the music, haven't seen it, haven't read it, so I couldn't put it on my list.
Fair. All right. So with that one down and out of the way, Andrew James Barr was the number 1.
Yeah, get ready to you're old, you're a boomer. I don't care. This is the greatest written musical I've ever seen in my life. It's Fiddler on the Roof. I'm going with the thing.
You're old, you're a boomer.
You literally live up to the song you chose.
Yeah, I chose tradition.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, continue. Explain. Did you pick the stage or the movie?
Stage.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Even though I think the movie is absolutely great. Fiddler on the Roof is a show that I actually read the libretto for before seeing the show. And if anyone's wondering what the word libretto is, it's the dialogue part of a musical. And I remember reading it going, this is fantastic. Like, this is the best script of a musical I've ever seen in my life. The way that you relate with Tevye as his daughters are going against the tradition that the town holds, and him making the conscious effort to try to stand behind them as one by one the dominoes fall, is such a moving, deeply personal musical. I think a lot of the songs are absolutely fantastic. If I Were a Rich Man has become a cultural touchstone for a reason. But it's this opening song, it's tradition where you get everything. You learn about Tevye as a person. You learn about how this town functions. You learn about why everything is held so closely to them. And I think that as you follow this story and as you see the straws piling up on Tevye's back as it breaks.
Okay, I would make the official statement. Kaleb Boatman, for the first time, has one comment of the week on Your List Sucks. So there you go.
But yeah, I think that this is the best written musical of all time. So that's why I put it as my number one.
All right. This is not the greatest written musical of all time, but it is a good musical. It's a good one. To put it number one is a little insane. To put
When
in
you
your
get
top
older,
10,
you'll understand.
okay. Fucking
Trust
yikes.
me, you
Okay.
will.
Okay. All right. Look, Fiddler on the Roof is very solid. It's fine. I've seen it done like 80 times. This is another one that I would like to put into the recycling bin of, can we stop bringing this one back for high school shows? I'm tired of watching this. Not that it's bad, just I've seen this done 30 times. I'm cool. I don't need to see this one again. At least not with a high school group. But like Fiddler on the Roof is fine.
Yeah, high school should not do this show.
Yeah, it's not a good high school show. But I will say, I forget his name. He was nominated the same year that Alex Brightman and Lynn and Leslie all were for his performance when they brought that back in 2016. He is very good. I watched a version of his rendition of the show, and it is very good. I think Fiddler's good. Like, Tradition's a really fun song. I really like Tradition. But to say it's the best written musical of all time and the best musical of all time is a little insane. It's good. I don't think it's the best. I think this is one that should, like, I would get it being in anyone's top 10. I would even get it being in your top 5 to an extent. But number 1's a little crazy. Adelaide Spence, Fiddler on the Roof. Seen it, like it, love it, thoughts?
I prefer Gwen Stefani's version.
Get out.
I will kill you.
I
will kill you.
Mute them and cut
I've
their
never
camera.
seen it. I will say I did the math ready for Barr to pick 1776, calling him 224 years old. Didn't. I can contribute nothing other than I haven't seen it.
Cameron Holtzman, Fiddler on the Roof.
I like this show. I have a physical copy of the script of this show, which I briefly left Cameron to grab. I don't love it. I think it's good. I don't know if Tradition would be the song I would pick. I would probably go with Sunrise Sunset. Actually,
good choice.
Because I think that song is really beautiful. But this musical has one thing that no other musical will ever have. That's a character named Laser Wolf.
Yeah.
This is true.
I cede my time.
All right. Cody Newberry, Fiddler on the Roof.
Barr, some people may think we hate each other, and they would be right.
Yeah, I hate you, Cody.
Listen.
Fuck off.
I don't mind Fiddler on the Roof. I think it's a good musical. I think I like the songs. One, you picked the wrong song. F you. It's If I Were a Rich Man. It will always be If I Was a Rich Man. If you don't... Listen, the entire time when you were talking, I stopped listening to you, and I just listened to that song, because that is the correct one to choose. Now, with that being said, number 1 is insane. top 10, I wouldn't argue with you. I think that is fine. But 10, but knowing Company's your 2, this would have to be your 1. Do you know what this show is? Do you know what the concept of this? This was best, and you all went obscure as shit. So cool. I'll win. It's fine.
Just
Fiddle on
because,
the Roof.
look, Velveeta is one of the best-selling cheeses, but it doesn't make it good.
We don't talk about food
Fuck
here.
you,
Brooklyn
Chef.
is not the host. Brooklyn is not the host. I don't stand for food on the show either.
Listen.
I don't get it.
I won't put up for this. I may be in the guest seat. I will not put up with the shit. You will go backstage in a heartbeat.
The other thing I do want to say, Caleb Boatman, I saw your last comment. I appreciate it. I don't think I can put that on screen. That is actually comment of the night. That is actually comment of the night. All right. Yeah, I can't put that on screen, but that is comment of the night. All right.
I just read it, and my goodness, I regret.
He needs a
telling you
timeout.
Harvey
He
Keitel.
needs a
I
timeout.
regret
I'm
telling you.
sorry. He may be a part of our channel. He needs a timeout.
Cameron Holtzen, what's your number 1?
Oh man, I wonder what my number 1 could be. I wonder what my number 1. It's Dear Evan Hansen. It's Dear Evan Hansen. I picked You Will Be Found.
Hey, that's what I picked.
Spencer, this was your 2. What did you pick for it?
Fuck, I put my list away. Yeah, I picked For Forever.
Okay. Cameron Holtzen, you had a number 1. Speak.
Yeah, I found out about this musical as it was like about to go into production. I saw like the few live TV performances that they had done of certain songs, and I immediately fell in love with it. And I was obsessed with it forever. And there was no cast recording, there was no bootleg. And I just existed. Bowman, delete all of his messages.
No. When you time out someone, it takes away their messages for the length that they're gone. So unfortunate. But continue.
But no. And then I was lucky enough to very quickly get my hands on a bootleg of the show with the entire original Broadway cast. I watched it on a Friday night at 7 p.m. I then watched it for a second time on Friday night at 10 p.m. I then watched it again on Saturday morning at 10 in the morning. And then again, Saturday afternoon at 2 in the afternoon. I watched it 6 times in the first weekend. I got a hold of a bootleg of it, and I wept every time. And then finally, earlier this year, in February, I was lucky enough to be able to see it live for the first time. It came to my city. And this show just continues to be perfect and continues to work on every level. It's just heartbreaking. It's so beautiful. Ben Platt is giving an incredible performance where he can fully sing and still do vibrato while also just fully weeping. His eyes are just streaming tears, and he is still singing perfectly. And just one of the most beautiful things ever. I've seen the show live 1.5 times because the first time I saw it, the audio did not work for part of the show, and they had to cut it halfway through. Luckily, I was able to book another time and see it. But no, the show is beautiful. I think the story's great. I think the romance is great. I picked You Will Be Found. It's the song. I think it is the song of the show. I could have picked so many different songs. I could have picked For Forever. Could have picked Waving Through a Window. Could have picked Words Fail. Could have picked Good For You. Like, every song in this show, I think, just works perfectly. I think it's so beautiful. But this song is the song of the show. It fully does the themes of you may think that you're alone, but you're not. You will find someone, and someone will be able to help you when you're there. Yeah, this musical hits hard, and I love it. And I'm still so shocked that Spence has it on their list.
Spence, go.
I don't know why you're like this show like means a lot to me, especially like as someone who struggles with mental health the way I do. This show is incredible. Just about this idea of just like someone just coming to terms with suicide, not through themselves, but through someone else. And seeing not only like the impact it can have on a family, but also just like how people tend to like try to capitalize on grief and try to make themselves feel special through it. And you have this very imperfect protagonist who keeps trying to find a way out of the situation, but keeps digging himself a deeper and deeper hole. I think this show is really hard to make work. And I'm forgetting who created it, but like they made it work. It's a remarkable piece of fiction. I think. Thank you. It's a remarkable piece of fiction. I think I think it's something that can be like studied and relearned and just like taught, and just it's something that people can get a lot from. And this is a show I watched I think a year and a half ago about, and it just I felt something different. I haven't felt something like that from a musical in maybe ever. At least before then I didn't. However, I will say the reason Holtzman's surprise, I think it has a dog shit act 2 opener. I think To Break in a Glove is a genuinely bad song and poorly constructed and just all of that. Everything else, though, I think is brilliant.
That's not why I'm surprised.
Cody Newberry, you had this at 7. You said that you hadn't seen it, but you put the soundtrack. That's how strong it was. Talk about it.
Yeah. So I asked you if I could see it, if it's going to ruin the show for me. By the way, anybody wanted to know, I timed out Boatman. I still have some power. He needed a little bit of a break from himself. I think the soundtrack is crazy good. What was on my list was actually Next to Normal before I listened to the soundtrack, and I would have picked the exact same one that Barr picked, because I think that one tells such an important story in that musical. I think Dear Evan Hansen, my wife I think she's in love with Ben Platt. I don't know if that's for sure, but like
every
she loves
breathing individual on the planet.
Yeah. So when I was listening to it, she goes, "Why are you listening to Dear Evan Hansen?" I was like, "Oh, I'm doing a musical thing." But I think this song is just incredible on it. I just think I think it's great. I want to see the show live. I really do. Yeah. That's basically all I can say. I haven't seen the show, so I can't go into detail. But the song, you could pick a bunch of different songs from Dear Evan Hansen. That would be correct.
Okay, so Dear Evan Hansen is my 3rd favorite musical of all time. I think it's fantastic. I listened to the soundtrack for basically 6 months on repeat, and then bought the script, the book, read it, fell in love with the whole show all over again, cried reading the book, and I got the opportunity to see it when it came to the Orpheum in Minneapolis. And I was like, I'm not going to cry because I know exactly what's going to happen. This isn't going to matter to me. No, lies. Completely devastated. That's the Hamilton. When I saw it, I got up and like left during the intermission because I needed to run to the bathroom and come back and everything. I was like, this is great. Dear Evan Hansen, I didn't leave my seat. I sat there next to my sister and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, I am not okay. I am not okay. Don't look at me. My face is going to be super red for the rest of the night. Do not look at me. Because Dear Evan Hansen means a lot to me personally. That's a story that deeply connects to me. Words Fail. If you are aware of my own channel, you can find a Words Fail cover. That's how much I love that song. That would be my choice. I've used Waving Through a Window for auditions before, but there is no denying You Will Be Found is the correct choice. There's a reason why You Will Be Found was used with the Story of Tonight for the Hamill Drop the Found Tonight mashup, which you haven't listened to that thing is amazing. That thing is beautiful. They used Story of Tonight and You Will Be Found put together. Amazing. But You Will Be Found is incredible. I listened to it again today just to like refresh the sound because I haven't listened to Dear Evan Hansen in a minute. I listened to that song again. Chills. That song gives you so many chills. If you have never listened to Dear Evan Hansen, I urge you to check it out. If you can find a bootleg and watch it, that's the best way to consume it possible. Is watch
literally, if you can't, message me and I will get you one.
Cameron Holtzman has the hookups for every bootleg ever. Please. This is not a lie.
If you're looking for them, look on YouTube for playlists called Slime Tutorials, not bootlegs. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, they will list every bootleg as Slime Tutorials. I have watched many a musical because Holtzman is a lifesaver. Dear Evan Hansen's gorgeous. If you have not watched it, call Holtzman. He'll hook you up with a link. Watch it. Barr, Dear Evan Hansen's not on your list. I assume for the same reasons as Hamilton. Speak of it. Oh.
No. Mainly because the trash. No. I have heard the cast recording. I actually have a friend and someone I went to college with play Alana on Broadway.
You're better than us.
Continue.
I don't need to because Cameron got me. No. But once again, it's a show that I haven't seen and I haven't read. So once again, I couldn't put it on my list because of that. It probably would, if I saw it, I bet this would probably crack my top 15 at the least, I mean.
Fair. To Break in a Glove is great. Retro, I do really like that one. But yes, I have also watched Cameron Redshaw do Dear Evan Hansen karaoke before with a buzz, and it was really fun. It was really funny.
Cameron Redshaw is a
Cameron Redshaw actually has an incredible singing voice. Ask him. All right. That means we are over to Cody Newberry, Number 1, take us home.
My number 1 is Les Mis, and I picked Stars. Stars is my favorite song. Javert. What? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, do we say?
Yeah, Holtzman, you have it where?
I had it at 3, and I picked One Day More.
Okay, Barr, did you have it?
I had it at 3. I picked On My Own.
And Spence, you had it at 7.
And I picked Red and Black.
And you picked the movie version, correct?
I will explain.
Okay, Spence picked the movie version. I'm assuming the rest of you picked show. So, Cody Newberry,
I erased my drawing of a tombstone for Spence. Give me.
Okay. Oh God, that just pisses me off. So Les Mis is Javert. I'll just say this real quick. Javert is my favorite musical character of all time. I don't think there's anybody better than Javert. Basically because he doesn't realize what he is doing. He is just following orders, and he doesn't get it until the very end that, oh my gosh, this guy, like, why am I doing this, basically? And Stars is just basically the song that it kind of changed my One Day More is honestly the correct choice. I'm not going to fight you on One Day More. One Day More was arguably one of the best songs in Broadway history. That song is incredible. But Stars, when I've heard now I'm blanking on his name, Koho, help me, 25th.
Oh, Norman Lewis.
Norman Lewis. Yeah, Norman Lewis singing this song. I literally was crying watching it. I think it's incredible. I think this entire show is incredible. I've seen this show so many times. That movie is the worst thing that has ever. If Cameron wants to kill Rob Marshall, literally Les Mis is one of my least favorite things of all time. I think that movie is an abomination for how great this musical actually is from all the cast. This musical works so good that it's great as a concert setting or as actual musical. Either way is fine, however you consume it. I think it's absolutely incredible. But yeah, Stars is a song that you can pick Master of the House. You can pick any. It's this musical will always stay with me as my number 1. I think it's just phenomenal. Yeah.
Okay. Holtzman, talk about yours.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm drawing something.
Okay, then never mind. I'll go to Barr because he has the same spot. We'll come back to you. Barr.
Cool. So I picked On My Own. I think the way that Javert is for Cody, Eponine is for me. Eponine is actually probably my favorite character just in literary history, because of the length that she will go to and the lack of reciprocation from Marius is just utterly heartbreaking. And her sacrifice is just utterly heartbreaking. And fuck the movie for what they did. Yeah, that was disrespectful to what the movie.
She had to be pissed off singing in that movie. I'm just gonna be honest.
I was pissed off watching it in the theaters. And to take that away from her. Okay, I'm gonna get off of that.
Sorry.
But this is the story is just really tightly written. The songs are all memorable. And what they do, like most productions, what they do with like the colors is just perfect visually. It's amazing. And before we move on, I actually drew something. I actually drew a Graveyard. One of them is Tom Hooper directed musicals. They all die whenever he gets behind the camera. And right back here is all the Rob Marshall directed musicals. So you do not want to join this graveyard.
Yes. Holtzman, go ahead.
Yeah, so before I say anything, I drew this lovely photo. It's a gravestone, and it says, R.I.P. Adelaide Spence jumped off a metaphorical bridge, was pushed off a literal one by Koho and Cody. So now that that's done, yeah, I picked One Day More. I love this show. My go-to version, as with Koho, and I believe as with Cody, is the 25th anniversary concert, Norm Lewis and Alfie Boe.
Yeah, it is.
I'll watch it with anybody at any time.
Oh yeah.
but I think like One Day More to me is the song of the show. I was lucky enough that in my senior year of high school, I actually got to co-direct this show as our senior show. Unfortunately, because I was co-directing, I did not get to play Javert because they would not let me direct and play that part. I had to choose, and I chose directing. I think One Day More is just brilliant. I think it's the perfect culmination of everything in the show. It's every character coming together, doing their melody, doing their song, and the way that they are able to take all these songs that when you listen to them on their own, they're so different and individual, and you can just bring them all together and have them all going at once, and it sounds still so beautiful and not like just a chaotic mess. I think is absolutely brilliant. Just the belting, the final harmony where they're all like, tomorrow we'll discover what I got, is beautiful, and they're just going for it. I think this song is brilliant. Seeing it visually on stage, the moment the giant red flag comes out and they just start waving it is beautiful. I was lucky enough that for like a public performance, I say lucky enough. Unfortunately, R and Yoel Ross could not make it to a performance at one point, so I got to fill in for that part. So I got to come in with the flag and stuff, and it's just one of the greatest theater experiences that I've been in. One of the greatest theater experiences I've seen. It's incredible.
Spence, you have this at 7.
Yep.
Speak of it.
So before I read you something I think is very important, I also have a drawing for one Cameron Holtzman. It's very technical. It just says, no, you.
I'll give you props for that one. That was good. That was good.
I'm going to read you a review of Les Miserables. 3.5 stars. My first time seeing this musical in any form, and I get the hype now. It's a powerful story with brisk pace and, of course, great music. That was written by one Cameron Redshaw. I'm not alone, you fucking assholes. Here is my issue. Not that I don't love the stage show, I have not seen the stage show. When I have the movie on my list, it is this low because I have not experienced what it should be. What I have seen is incredible. I love what has been created. I think the acting is great. I think the songs are great. I think the story is great. I have not seen the version that I should see. That's the again, if I saw this, I was gonna make the time for it and I just didn't because I have a match. If I had the time for this, I would have probably gotten it higher. I cannot defend myself for picking the movie other than the movie is going to give me a gateway into what I'm sure is a wonderful, amazing show.
I needed someone to call me an ambulance. There are 4 knives sticking out of my back right now. Fuck you, Doc. You betrayed me, you son of a bitch. Defend yourself.
Since I made another drawing.
I'm fed up with this world.
I'm fed up. All right, here's the thing. Now it's my turn. Les Miserables is my second favorite musical of all time, and I have never actually gotten to see it live. That's how strong this show is. I have seen the concerts. I have seen the staged concert. I have seen the movie. The movie's an abomination. Fuck everyone who thinks that movie is great. It is awful. Awful. The only good thing in that show, or in that movie, is Samantha Parks, because she's actually from the show, and she is a fantastic.
Anne Hathaway's great.
I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it right now. Anne Hathaway is fine and did not deserve an Oscar for singing I Dreamed a Dream, because I have seen kids in high school sing it better than her, and that's a problem.
Wow.
So just saying, she's good. She's not Oscar-winning material. You know who should have won an Oscar?
They also cut things out, which really pissed me off.
Exactly. The person in that movie who deserved an Oscar is Samantha Parks for putting up with all that bullshit.
What they do to her character in this movie, disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
She deserves an Oscar for having to fall in love with Eddie Redmayne. That is acting.
Hold up. Time out for points. Eddie Redmayne can't sing. Can we put that on blast? That man sounds like he swallowed Kermit the Frog.
Neither can Nick.
That's my joke, you thief.
I stole from you. Nick Jonas can't sing.
Is bad too.
He's a bad actor, but at least he can sing. I'll take that. At least he can sing.
Eddie Redmayne's acting with Nick Jonas's voice is what we need.
That's what we need. However, Hugh Jackman is the only part of the movie that I think is absolutely incredible. I think he's a great Jean Valjean. He should play Jean Valjean in a stage version. The movie doesn't do him justice. I think he's great. I think the movie has Russell Crowe, who is the singular worst performance in a musical of all time, and it's not close. However, talking back to the stage show, stars, beautiful. Love that song. In fact, fun, weird piece of trivia tidbit. Whenever I had or have to get up early to go in for the morning show at like 6 a.m., I will play Stars because that's a nice wake you up song. One Day More, I think, is the singular best song in the history of Broadway. I have never wept harder than the first time I watched in the 25th anniversary concert edition, the final version with everyone, the original cast and the current cast and the ensemble all put together, singing One Day More in a giant chorus is maybe the greatest thing I've ever seen. One Day More is fantastic. And the thing is about that song, all the individual songs that come together to make that work perfectly on their own. But when you put them together, it sounds like that was the way it was supposed to be. It's insane how all these individual songs, which sound correct on their own, almost sound like somehow like they were supposed to be in this song first. And One Day More is a giant mosaic of perfection. I love On My Own. I love the character of Eponine to death. I think she's one of my favorite parts of this. Valjean will always be my favorite character from this. That's a pretty basic take, but Who Am I with Alfie Boe? My heart. The man is amazing, and Bring Him Home. Jean Valjean has so many great moments of songs. I know it's a basic tenor audition song. Empty Chairs and Empty Tables is still a great song.
Stop using it at auditions, bro.
I agree, though. Stop using it at auditions. I'm tired of hearing it. Les Miserables is a perfect musical. Through and through. It will be my number 2 for the rest of the time behind Hamilton, just because Hamilton is just close to my heart. But I think Les Miserables is phenomenal. Has earned its piece in time. Has earned its place in time. But yeah. Redshaw.
I find ways to not be fucked by Koho. Redshaw. I had to do
Redshaw,
something.
we're gonna talk later. It'll be okay. I'll get you a copy of the 25th anniversary edition and culture you. However, Les Miserables, fantastic. I cannot fault it being anyone's number 1, especially yours, because I know how much you love Les Mis. It's always gonna be my 2. All right, very long show. I apologize for everyone else and me. Cody did a great job of keeping it short, so we're going to go through and we're going to run things up. So, coming in number 1 by a wide margin is Cody Newberry.
Shocker.
Wow. Wide margin. He was the only one to have Hamilton. His top 5 are all fantastic shows that no one else had except for Les Mis and Wicked. Hairspray, I get it. Dear Evan Hansen, little low, but also you haven't seen it. Rent, good choice. Phantom of the Opera, I get it. And West Side Story, haven't seen. But your top 5 is a bulletproof top 5. Number 2 tonight, Cameron Holtzman.
Yep.
Cameron Holtzman slides into second place for one reason and one reason alone. Not his pick. His picks aren't bad. They're just in the wrong spots. I think Hadestown at 2 is a little high. There's no Hamilton. Les Mis at 3 is perfect, but not below Hadestown. Beetlejuice, a little high, but I love it. Waitress, haven't seen besides the one clip, not great 5. Heather's great, wrong song. Be More Chill, little too low. Nevermore, I didn't like it. In the Heights, too low. But on the whole, great choice of songs. Coming in at 3rd place, on the strength of being alive, is Andrew Barr. Look, Camelot, I don't love. Music Man, not great. Next Normal, liked it a lot. Assassins is great. Wicked is great. Ragtime is fine. Sweeney Todd is great. Your version is Les Mis is great. Company and at Fiddler on the Roof is where you lose me. But, on the whole, your list is just old. It's not bad. I can't fault you for it, for being a geriatric. You get a C+. I forgot to give out grades. Cody has an A+.
I knew it. I called it.
Cody has an A+, and Cameron Holtzman has an A. But coming in with the first ever Z- is Adelaide Spence.
Exaggerating.
Z-. Rocky Horror, no way. 6, way too soon. Little Shop of Horrors, too low and wrong song. Les Mis, you picked the movie version, and you picked maybe the wrong song. Chicago, too high, fine. Sing Street, abomination. Sweeney Todd, movie version, abomination. Wicked, Dear Evan Hansen, Hadestown, great musicals in the wrong spots. Hadestown at 1, way too high, and Epic 1 is the absolute wrong song. There's not one thing. You didn't even have the right Dear Evan Hansen song. Like, all the way through and through, this list is just kind of wrong. You just found a way to make every single pick the incorrect one, except for Wicked's Defying Gravity. So that's the first list where everything about it was wrong. Congratulations. You have the worst list. Your list sucks with a Z-. All right. So next week, Top 40 comic movie scenes. He's back. I'm producing, and we have a great panel. Nick Twig, Nick Carley, Robert Parker, and Thomas Scully for the next 5 weeks, talking comic movie scenes. It's going to be a fun time. Now, your combined list. I wanted to get that announcement out of the way before people leave.
Recap special.
Oh,
yeah, recap special. Your combined list for musicals. Number 1 is Les Miserables. I picked One Day More. 2, Jefferson Hansen, You'll Be Found. 3, Wicked, Defying Gravity. 4, Hadestown. I picked Wait For Me. 5, Sweeney Todd. I did pick A Little Priest. I think that song is better, but I will not pick the movie version.
Ouch.
6, Fiddler on the Roof. Tradition. 7, Hamilton. Wait for it. I fucking hate you all. 8, Company being alive. I will take it. 9, The Book of Mormon with I Believe. I'm glad it's here. And 10, Beetlejuice. Say my name. Solid number 10. This list, it would be great if Hadestown was lower. Sweeney Todd is fine where it is. Company and Fiddler on the Roof should be here. But on the whole,
how dare you?
No, how dare you? Go
How
back
dare
to
you?
Dan Skip Allen is waiting for his roommate to get back to the geriatrics home.
Have you ever felt like Eliza Doolittle, Caleb?
I have. You can all relate to Eliza Doolittle. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. This show has gone on so long. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys next week.
My God, what just happened?
You better lawyer up, asshole. Because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
Get what you fucking deserve!
Return to your lady friend. Duncan, please return to your lady friend.
Long live the king. Hasta la vista, baby.